Place, so working real hard this week on all three sides of the ball.
Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson did not practice on Wednesday, dealing with a sore knee. However, Jackson is expected back on the practice field later on today. Guardians pitcher Luis Ortiz arraigned on Wednesday in New York and entered a not guilty plea. He took bribes to help gamblers win bets placed on pitches he threw. He was released on a $500,000 bond. Emanuel Clase said to be arraigned this afternoon. Clase also facing charges in taking bribes in connection to making pitches. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show, followed by Thursday Night Football. All-Star Night at 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima, here on 92.3 The Fan.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Ball directs traffic. He wants Bryant on the low block near side. Porter, another! Greg Porter is a perfect 5 for 5 with 3 triples. Allen hands off to Porter. Porter feeds ball. Lonzo, good pass inside. He got it to Allen. Allen puts it up and in and draws the foul. Uses an Allen screen, picks up his dribble, feeds Allen. Allen spins on Wiggins. He puts it in. Cavs by 8. Porter looks to set up Larson with an Allen screen. Allen down the lane. He banks it in.
Phenomenal. Even in the first half, I felt like we're in a good place, even though the game was really close. Guys gave a phenomenal effort. We had one heroic performance. Craig Porter Jr., that's incredible. And not the score, just the whole thing, the defense. You won't see it on the stats. He had 11 deflections too, 3 blocks, 4 steals. I mean, because that was a heroic performance. We needed it. So it was one of those games where we felt really good about our process. And obviously not all games are like that. So there's just a real positive energy that we're going to turn this thing around.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of FanDuel TV. Nice win. Nice win for the Cavs. If I could not turn my mic off by accident, Lima's upset with me. Take it away.
No, well, after hearing that from Kenny Atkinson, what's he got against Jared Allen? There was one heroic performance last night. Jared Allen puts up 30 and 10 after getting
Jared Allen on his way out.
After he gets benched in all these fourth quarters, he's playing the least amount of minutes of all the quarters for him in the fourth. He's only playing like 3 minutes a night. He has that as a pro. He's huge defensively. And his coach says there was only one hero last night. It wasn't him.
We had one heroic performance. Craig Porter Jr., that's incredible. And that.
What is that?
Well,
what is going on?
Does he expect Jared Allen to step up? Well, wait a minute.
To
here
go
now.
30 and 10?
I didn't think it was going to go this way here. I was ready for a fight, and now I'm not ready for a fight. Now I'm getting a little bit confused here. All right, first things first. Maybe he thought that Jared Allen was capable of that, and he didn't think that Craig Porter Jr. was capable of that. Is that fair?
So he thinks he's capable of it, but he's been benching him in all the fourth quarters. So we're not playing our best player in the fourth quarters? What's the disconnect here?
I don't know. I'm not Kenny Atkinson. I can't answer that question now, can I? I've gotten much better at going, it's not my point to explain that. Why do I need to explain that? I don't need to explain that. I'm getting used to your tricks of you trying to walk me into things that I don't want to explain.
6:04:58, and you were in the corner already.
Who, me?
Yeah, just backed right into it.
I was wondering. What do you mean I was backed into a corner? I was just wondering. That's all I was doing. That's all I was.
Don't ask questions of the wizard if you don't have a plan to get out of it.
No. He's right. You got to know an answer before you ask the question. He's right about that. I've learned that specifically with working with him. However, I was just saying, Jared Allen is paid like a guy who would be capable of doing such things. Wouldn't you expect Jared Allen to be capable of doing such things? The fourth quarter stuff, that's very, very true. That's very true. Now, what did you want to get on me about here?
Okay, so every day we try to think about, all right, just because a game happened last night, does that necessarily mean that's what we lead with at 6? Because if there's significant Browns news, if there's something going on in the NFL, if there's something that we think the most amount of people will want to talk about. But a lot of times it's just the game that happened last night. So rewind back to Tuesday, the Cavs play on Monday, have a horrific loss to the Miami Heat. They don't have Hero. They don't have Bam. And we go out there, you have the Garland news, there's lots of things happening surrounding the Cavs, and we lead the show with it, and we talk about, is there something wrong with the Cavs? What is going on? What's with Darius Garland? Is this going to be something that plagues the team for the year? Why are they losing these games? Why does their offense seem so disjointed? Why is the defense nowhere near what it seems to have been the last few years? And then today, Ken's like, is there anything really Cavs to talk about? And I'm like, they won.
Well, wait a minute.
They won.
No, yeah, but it wasn't.
So we only care when our teams lose?
No, that isn't the case, though. I didn't want to sit there and spend 20 minutes going, hey, they won. Hey, Cavs won. I'm not just doing a segment just to say the Cavs won, just so people go, you guys never talk about the Cavs. No, I'll talk about the damn Cavs. I'll talk the hell out of the Cavs. But I'm not going to spend 20 minutes going, hey, Cavs won. Guys, Cavs won. You know what? I'm not going to call out somebody else for doing that. I'm just going to stick to our show. Cavs won. Do you think the Cavs win was a good win, or was it a not so good win? 2-1. I wasn't going to do that. That's all I was trying to point out.
We were big underdogs last night. Basically, everybody I know thought this was a punt game. We've just punted on both these games after losing the first one.
Yeah.
You know, Donovan Mitchell's in Louisville watching his team, Louisville, watching his alma mater play basketball against Kentucky. Are they even taking this seriously?
You were mad at him.
What, are we going to lose by 40?
You were mad at him for going to Louisville.
And then I didn't say I was mad at him.
You didn't seem to be thrilled.
I just questioned,
you didn't like
what
the level of you didn't like the unseriousness, it seemed.
I questioned what they were trying to get out of this Miami.
Put you on it.
I tried to question, what are we getting out of this Miami experience?
I think
you had two games. Sometimes that's how a team bonds. You know, it's one of these weird back-to-back, but over the course of 3 days, but they had already been in Miami, so it was almost like a training camp situation.
Bunch of vets on that team. They bonded. They're bonded.
Did they?
Yeah.
While one of them was somewhere else.
They've been playing for 3 years together. They're bonded. Well, they don't. That's what I mean. They don't need to sit there and be with each other. They've bonded. We don't need to go bowling or anything like that. They're all together. They know each other pretty well. They've bonded. That's my entire point.
Oh, you're saying they've already bonded?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a bonded situation. There you go.
But it just seems like Ken Carman only thinks they're newsworthy when they lose, but not when they win.
Well, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case.
Imagine if we did that with the Browns.
I wanted you to say so. Well, we never talk about the Browns. I'm pointing out that I'm not just going to sit there for 20 minutes and say that the Cavs won and that's it. There's got to be something more than that to get into.
I would say Kenny Atkinson really had some nice things to say about bench guys. We're wondering if some of the young guys, did we say going into the season?
Great.
Hold on, you're scoffing, you're condescending, but didn't we say one of the storylines going into the season was we already know about Darius, we know about Donovan, we know about Mobley, we know about Jared Allen, but what about the young guys? Weren't we supposed to be monitoring the young guys to see who could break through? And Craig Porter Jr. is called the performance was called heroic.
We had the wrong heroic performance. Craig Porter Jr. That's incredible, and not the score, just the whole thing.
You're getting me all wrong.
Ken says great.
You're getting me all wrong.
That's exactly how you said it.
It was great. It was great. It's great.
Great. Let's move on to Browns talk.
No, that's not it. No. Don't you do that.
Cleveland Cavaliers. Craig Porter Jr. is the first player in Cavs history to finish a game with at least 19 points, 8 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks.
Great.
Where were you that night?
I was in Jersey Mike's in Streetsboro.
Where were most people that night?
You tell me.
How many texts did you get about the game last night?
None.
There you go.
None.
There you go.
So did everybody miss out?
Your basketball friends.
So yeah, did everybody miss out?
I want to know where Paul Force was texting you last night about that game. I want to know from all your basketball
buddies. Sounds like Ken's
buddies.
taking pride in the fact he didn't pay attention to this game.
I paid attention to the game.
Oh, you did you?
For the first half.
Yeah?
For the first half. I'll admit.
Tell me something notable.
I'll come out in a minute.
I was going to say.
I had the game on mute. I watched it in the first half.
Fourth quarter, 1.5 minutes.
I watched the first half.
1.5 minutes into the fourth quarter.
I got nothing to tell you.
1.5 minutes into the fourth quarter, what happened yesterday?
I got nothing to tell you.
Cavs were in the bonus, and they rode that out throughout the rest of the fourth quarter.
Congratulations. Well done. Kevin Mackey would be proud. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Would Kevin Mackey watch the whole game?
Not last night.
You know what I'm saying.
Well, he was like a scout. He ended up being an NBA scout for many years.
Would he have watched the whole game?
I'm sure the scouts are paying attention to the young guys.
That's a good point. I'm just pointing out, I don't think a lot of fans took yesterday seriously. I will admit, I did not. I thought it was a scheduled loss.
Well, I did too. I did too.
Then what are we fighting about? Then what am I getting fought about?
That in a game.
Why are you getting me into a mood before the show and carrying into the show?
This is exactly why. Because
why am I doing this?
This is why. Because a game that you thought was a scheduled loss, not only did they rally when nobody thought they would have rallied in the fourth quarter, they ended up taking it to them, so much so to the point where the Heat were sitting there despondent after the game. They couldn't believe that they lost the game.
It's actually true. They were upset about things.
Like their fans were calling it the low point of the season.
Here's Jaime Jaquez on it.
Just wanting to be a great team. I think that's our motivation is, tonight we had an opportunity. Obviously, they had a lot of guys missing, and, I think that may have gotten to us. As great teams, it doesn't matter who's out there. You got to put your best foot forward, and obviously, we just didn't do that tonight.
Cavs are out there teaching other teams lessons.
Well, there's wins and lessons, not necessarily losses. Ty Lue. Okay, fine. So do I have to watch all 48 minutes of every Cavs game now?
If you're not interested, you don't have to watch any of them. What happened to the Ken used to be man of the people? Michael Stanley. Let's play the Cavs music.
Why does it
What happened?
How does it become that?
It's like we've been too spoiled. We've won too much. Cavs, you've won too much for Ken Carman. He's now over it.
216-474-0092. How many people actually watched the game last night? How many people actually watched the game?
I went from being chastised from Anthony for not watching a Thunder Mavericks game, was it? Or Rockets game? Or something.
Exactly.
Two Western Conference teams to going, who cares? If you don't want to watch, don't watch.
He is the Mr. I don't care about anything.
Sad.
He doesn't care about anything. And now all of a sudden he's calling me. And I don't even think you care about this argument.
Well,
I think you're just trying to get me worked up.
With the Browns where they are, and there's going to be no offseason to speak of for the Guardians, if you don't care about this, I mean, what is there?
There's plenty of offseason to speak about. We were talking about cockfighting yesterday for crying out loud. That's an offseason.
That's helping the Guardians get better.
It's not helping them get better, but you want an offseason intrigue, I got it. Roosters pecking at each other.
Just telling you.
In court today.
We have a
Who's in court?
Clase
A's going to court today.
All right.
Law and order.
About little Jerry.
Let's get Dick Wolf on the show.
Is he there?
And talk about this game. Talk about the Guardians in the offseason. Hell, this is the most intrigue we've had with the Guardians offseason. I disagree with you. However, all I was pointing out is that I wasn't going to I just wasn't going to say, hey, Cavs won and that was great for 20 minutes. That's all I was going to say. That's all I wanted to say. It wasn't that we have to go to the Browns. The Browns ain't going anywhere. I'll get to the Browns. We'll talk Browns. It'll happen. But damn, I felt a lot of people felt the same way I did. I think they woke up and went, hey, they won convincingly. All right, nice win.
But
that was it.
Can you imagine if I came on Monday morning after the Browns beat the Miami Dolphins and said, great.
That's not what I meant when I said
now
great.
They won a game, now I got to talk about them for 4 hours? And then the next day, and the next day, and the next day?
No one has to talk. No one has to talk about the Browns for 4 hours or the Cavs for 4 hours, clearly. Cavs Report brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside.
Sure, they're going to love being tagged to that.
Please drink responsibly. 6:14 and 52 seconds for those scoring.
Hell, you're not going to watch a basketball game, so drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly. I watched half the basketball game.
What about tonight now?
I have to sit there and watch the whole game tonight.
We got to do this again?
We got to do this too.
You got to do it again.
And it's going to be easier. Game starts at 7. But
not
the
a cup game.
Is the game on NBA TV?
That also, I think you can still see him FanDuel locally.
FanDuel. Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes I can never figure out. Sometimes the NBA TV is blacked out for me. Sometimes it's not.
Oh.
Get your stuff together. Come on, NBA.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry I didn't watch it. Did you watch all 48 minutes? Again,
yeah,
you did. You watched all 48 minutes? Man. You got a basketball guy over here, guys.
Well, I did toggle a little bit with the John Wayne Gacy documentary on Peacock. Now, they're simultaneous John Wayne Gacy documentaries on Peacock. Not only is there the drama, there's also the actual in-prison interviews.
What?
This is you. You spawned this. You got me interested in this stuff.
I started watching the Eileen Warnos thing while the Cavs game was on last night. I'm sorry. Well, she was convincing. I've only got halfway through. I'm kind of on her side so far. That story she told about. Did you see that yet?
No.
Oh my God! That story about the first guy she killed.
Yeah.
She's convincing. That's all I'm saying. If I was on that jury, I'd be like, you know what?
Just watched the Charlize movie.
I didn't see. I like the
serial killer too?
documentaries. I like the documentaries. So you're watching serial killer shows. I'm watching serial killer documentaries, all while the Cavs are going on. I just want to point out how serious of an enterprise this is for everybody, and how much all you did was just get me worked up for 16 minutes.
The Gacy one, they don't show the crimes. At least I'm on the last episode. They have not showed one crime, and you're like, well, how could it be interesting if they don't show one crime? They do it very artfully.
And to finish up the James Garfield show, it's on Netflix.
Oh, that was one.
It's new.
What is explode into powder or something like that?
Yeah, Death by Lightning.
That's it. Yeah, it's something. I got to show you what his doctors did to him during the break. I can't describe it on the air. It's left out of the show. I want to tell you what. We've come a long way when it comes. Coming in hot is at 9:45 tomorrow. I don't need any RFK jokes. I'm just going to let you guys know that we've come a very long way when it comes to medicine since poor James Garfield was shot. 216-474-0092. Are you happy you made me out to be the major league bastard that you wanted me to be today?
I think more people agree with you.
But I'm not fighting. I don't want to turn it into a fight against paying attention to the Cavs. It was just, it did seem like it was a scheduled loss.
It did.
I got halfway through the game and I went, okay. And then that was it. Because frankly, I didn't want to be watching them and and then get mad at them for staying up the whole time. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, I'll get to you guys coming up next. 216-474-0092. I don't even want to tease what I wanted to bring up because then you're just going to kill me for that.
Go ahead. Do it.
No.
The people want to know.
No.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
No.
No.
Fine. Dan Orlovsky didn't change my opinion much on
the Cavs?
On Kevin Stefanski. Oh. But he did make me think there's one huge problem. That's coming up. Cavs. 5 minutes on the fan. Cavs.
It's Anthony Lima for
touchdowns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
We got great leadership. Those guys, I shouldn't say that, but they're teams where the guys won't even come out, right, and sit on the bench. Their teams are, the better players stay back in the locker room, and our guys are out there. And that's the way it should be. That's what a team's about. That's the type of guys we have. They're like high school kids out there, cheering, and they're into the game. They're jumping up and down. They're so happy for their teammates. It's great to see.
Hell, you come after me. I said it was no big deal that he went to the game down in Louisville. You wanted to call out Donovan Mitchell yesterday for going to the game to the Louisville game.
I don't think I was calling him out.
Oh, you didn't call him out yesterday?
No.
Sounded like calling him out to me. Owen?
I don't remember him calling him out.
Don't you do that just to do that.
No, that's not. I never do that just to do that.
Yes, you do it. You're doing it right now just to do it. I see your face.
Put it up on the poll.
They can't see your face.
Does Owen do it just to do it?
Put that up there. Owen does it. Owen don't do it.
Do it for Mitch. Mitch, do it. Don't do it. The do it poll.
What is it with the 80s movies where they had the cops do it by the book shirts? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm just saying. I'm just asking. I saw like 4 movies of the 80s that cops do it by the book. Like, what does that mean? Sorry. All right, here we go. You ready to do this?
Let's go to the phones.
I want to know what your problem is with all the people, by the way. What is your problem?
I don't think I have a problem. I think you're in the majority. I think a lot of people, last night was a tune-out when they saw the lineup. When they saw who wasn't going to play, it seemed like a punt game. That's what most people were saying. They punted on last night's game.
Yes. I think a lot of people were expecting them to just kind of...
All I'm asking is, can we say something nice about them if they won a game that they were punting?
Yeah, why can't you say anything nice about a game that everybody thought that they were punting? I'm just not going to say anything mean about anybody who was like, nah, who are they starting? Okay, never mind. Like, I'm not going to say anything mean about them. It was November 12th in that game. And if they were starting the same starting 5 as they tried to do basically every game the last couple of years, and we wanted to do this, fine. And I'm going to get the phones here in a second. But if you're load managing, which clearly they were yesterday, Jalen Tyson's being evaluated for concussion for crying out loud, so he's a little bit different. But when you're load managing and they're telling you, hey, it's kind of the way it is. We're going to go out there. We're going to give an effort, but we're not putting our best out there on the floor. I think it's okay for a lot of fans to go, all right, well, I'm not going to give you my full attention. I don't think that anybody, if we're all fine with this, and by the way, this isn't to call out anybody. Certainly, I'm not calling out the fans. I'm not even calling out the Cavs. I said this during the LeBron era. When people, remember when Dan Dockich got all mad because LeBron didn't play in Indianapolis one day or something like that, and we had Dan on the show, and he's yelling at us, and I'm going back and going, Dan, I don't care about their problems. I'm trying to win a championship. Somebody said they drove 12 hours to go to Indianapolis. I don't know. There's probably a game closer to you. Those signs, remember we did that whole thing? I drove so-and-so to see LeBron, and LeBron went there. I'm like, I don't even believe the sign. I think you're full of it. I think you're lying to my face right there. You could have went to plenty of other games that were closer. You didn't need to do that. There was the Memphis game, I remember. He didn't play, and people got all bent out of shape. And I go, I don't care. I'm trying to win a championship. And the Cavaliers are trying to win a championship. So if Donovan Mitchell wanted to go to Louisville to go see them play Kentucky in a rivalry game, and then come on back and he was down on the bench and everybody was fine, who cares? I don't care. I am fine with that as long as you take care of your business. And it's not just winning. If they would have lost last night and everybody's out on the bench, you're still trying to take care of your business. But as long as you are, when you're out on the floor, doing everything that you can, that's perfectly fine. Because as somebody said to us, it's like, hey, how much can I really take away from the game? Like, I could try to get into the X's and O's. Is Craig Porter Jr. going to be out there in the fourth quarter in the NBA playoffs? Unless there's injuries.
Yeah, injuries. If injuries happen.
Unless there's injuries, he's not.
But what do we see?
And it's great to see Craig Porter Jr. out there.
What have we seen in the playoffs? Massive injuries. Every team. That's why they need to know if they can rely on guys.
And that's excellent. But I don't think I'm going to glean very much from a game in November in a game in April and May. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So I'm fine if a fan decided to watch the show about James Garfield or Eileen Wuornos or what was your one again? Was it
John
more
Wayne Gacy?
Boy, you got a real thing for Gacy lately.
Yeah. 2 different documentaries.
What part are you at right now?
I'm on the last episode of the drama. I'm on the 3rd episode of the documentary.
Is he in jail yet? Do they catch him yet?
Oh, he gets caught minute 1 of the first movie.
Oh, really?
Of the first episode. That's how they did it.
Now, how did they do it? Was it the fish dinner that the investigators went and he served them fish dinner, and then the one went to the bathroom and the heat kicked on and they went, that don't smell good.
That was in the first episode.
Okay, that was all there? Okay, making sure. Did they find the body behind the garage?
I don't think they went into detail.
Okay, there was one out in the yard, too. And then remember, he said he buried one by some corner, and then like later on after he died, they went and tried to exhume a bunch of bodies there over in one corner of Chicago. Kevin in University Heights. Don't ask me why I know. Kevin in University Heights, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Kevin.
Well, actually, it's Jeff, but that's okay. I'll be Kevin.
Well done. Mitch, how do you mix up Jeff
because we were
and
talking
Kevin?
About two different Kevins.
How do you mix
and
up
so finally,
Jeff
I think Mitch is guilty of just listening to the show.
We did it.
We finally did it. Our producer's listening to the show.
Well done, Mitch. Well done. Go ahead, Jeff.
No problem. So, yes, I paid attention to the whole game. You know why? Because they are more entertaining with the so-called punting the game than watching the pitiful, pathetic, putrid joke of an embarrassment of a mistake on the lake that we see every Sunday. So, yeah, I watched it. And
now, wait a minute. See,
write these down.
See, this is
Did
what
you
I
use
don't
that
like.
before?
This is what I don't like, Jeff. I don't think the Cavs want to be used as some fodder to rub the Browns' nose in anything. I think they want Cavs fans to be Cavs fans, and I don't think you need to be a stronger Cavs fan just because you're mad at the Browns. I don't think that that's what they want.
Well, they're more entertaining to watch. They have been for the last umpteen years, too, that they've been more entertaining. And I like the effort, especially when you've got from not only Craig Porter Jr., but Thomas Bryant, who I like to see get more playing time because he brings a level of toughness physically that is, let's be honest, sometimes lacking. So I enjoyed it.
Okay. Jeff, thank you very much for the call. He watched the whole thing. Jeremy in Baltimore, Maryland. He's next up on the Fan. He's listening on the free Odyssey app. Hello, Jeremy.
How you guys doing?
Doing well, Jeremy.
Usually I agree with Lima on a lot of stuff, but I gotta say I agree with Ken on this one. I got 5 minutes into that game and was so bored I was ready to watch the Andy Griffith Show. And I think that's a lot of people now because...
Is that a serial killer show, too?
You and Jeff Phelps.
Andy Griffith Show?
Yeah.
Serial killer show? What?
He's joking with you, Jeremy.
Who's the redhead? Didn't the redhead grow up to mutilate a bunch of bodies?
You guys don't even want to know what Otis was doing.
I fell for it. Yeah, you're good. I fell for it. But no, I think it's basketball in general. A lot of people are getting a little bored with it, and I'm more excited for hockey season than I am for the Cavs' first part of the Cavs season for the most part. So, but like that.
Are you from that region originally?
No. So my family's all from the Akron-Canton area. So I came down here when I was a little kid. That's why I'm stuck.
Give me a quick hockey storyline we should be monitoring.
Give me something. Yeah, give me something right now.
I think it's coming up is going to be we're going to have a repeat of the USA versus Canada deal that we had last year, and that's not just NHL. It's just I think nationally, I think that's what a lot of people are looking forward to. I think that's the biggest storyline they should be coming up with is pushing that again.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jeremy. I appreciate the call. Yeah, if you're a hockey fan, give me a storyline. That's fine too. Rodney in Litchfield, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Rodney.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey. Morning, Rodney.
Well, the first thing I want to bring up is my buddy always tells me you only have to watch the fourth quarter in the NBA, and he's probably right 90% of the time.
Maybe even more.
He's like,
nowadays.
Well, yeah.
Seriously. We talked about this with the three-point shooting. No lead is insurmountable with the three-point shooting.
The comment I want to make about Allen, I think you're blowing the wrong thing out of proportion.
Okay.
Well, first of all, he makes, $25-30 million a year. Like you said, it's expected for him to do well most nights and not get pushed around by a 6'11", 190-pound guy, which happened a couple times in the first half. It didn't happen in the second half much. But listen to the comment the coach made about Porter. You guys haven't even played it yet.
Yeah, we did.
No, you didn't. You didn't play the comment I'm talking about.
Oh, what comment?
I had a man-to-man conversation with him this summer. Play that comment.
Yeah, about things he needs to do to get better
listen to Rodney.
Actually fit into the team.
Well, listen to
man-to-man conversation he said I had with this young man. Player to coach.
I gotta go find it. It's not in the cut sheet here.
That's my point. If that was being played, it'd make a little bit more sense what he said about the guy.
Rodney, if off the air at 5:30, you could call into Mitch and tell him what cuts to have.
He's going to do it.
That could help us.
Can we start helping out? Do the all sports. Well, first of all, if it's going to be, if I'm going to be doing the big sports center, it's going to have to only be New York teams and Boston teams. I hate that channel anymore. I can't really stand it.
That's what we're here for.
We'll go find it. And Rodney, thank you very much for the call on the contest.
Next Friday,
I appreciate you.
You can come out and see us in Broadview Heights if you want.
Yes, come to Broadview Heights.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and God
Bombers,
bless Kevin
sports
Mackey's
cards.
family. Yeah, God bless Kevin Mackey's family and also Bernie Kosar's. I wish him the best.
I got text. I'm glad you brought that up, Rodney. Thank you very much for the call. I was getting text about Kevin Mackey yesterday. You know a lot of people in the basketball community who are big fans of Kevin Mackey. With Bernie, I will tell you, we were all texting Bernie yesterday. Seems to be in good spirits. Seems to be on a positive path right now. And we're hoping that he's going to be upright and all right. Still some woods to go through, clearly, with the liver. The entire
region and really Browns fans across the planet are praying for Bernie Kosar.
But he was texting all of us yesterday, so hopefully we're going in the right direction. We pray for him. Coming up at 8:20 this morning, Mary Kay Cabot going to join us on the show. Coming up next. All right, fine. Can I get to the Orlovsky thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. You better not make Kevin a scapegoat. That's all I'm going to point out. Ken Carman, Tone Master General on the Fan. Extend Technologies beat you to it. XTENDAV.com.
yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
When you want the latest on the Cavs, we're the station you turn to first. 92.3 The Fan is Cleveland's home for breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
Mary Kay Cabot going to join us on the show. 9:20. We finally get to this because we've had a lot of crazy stuff happen over the last 48 hours. Doug Maurice is going to join us on the show. The Bill and Doug Show. Also, Bill and Doug on Ohio State Football on Substack. You've read him for a long time. Doug's one of our absolutely favorite guests. Lima put out a poll. And how was the poll about Julian saying?
It was.
Explain it to me here.
Because we're talking about Heisman winners, and can you be the Heisman if you're not the best player on your team? And I asked Buckeye fans, Julian saying, is he the best player, second best, third best, fourth, or fifth? And resounding has been fourth or fifth, because I only have so many options on the poll, so fourth and fifth were combined, and I think fourth or fifth was like 40+% of the vote.
Okay. Because I want to get into that. Because it's Saturday, and then, of course, the Browns lost against the Jets. If the Browns would have beat the Jets, I mean, you want to talk about big deals and things like that. It's like, okay, you just beat the Jets. We would have gotten to the whole Julian saying Heisman Trophy thing much sooner, because if it's against him and Fernando Mendoza, I like Gus Johnson. The reason I like Gus Johnson is because he's uniquely Gus Johnson. There's only one guy in the world who can do what he does, as he does it. You know what I mean? Do that whole thing. I think everybody else would just turn into a terrible impression of Gus Johnson. But Ohio State fans got worked into a shoot because, like, wait a minute, Heisman. And it's like, well, Heisman does mean moments. Julian has played so well. Their offense has been so efficient. Their defense has been way more efficient even than their offense. He hasn't really had his moment.
They've needed nothing from Julian Sain in the fourth quarter.
He hasn't had his moment yet. But then when we break it down, it's like, okay, not if we're doing best overall player, where does the Heisman really go? Because if we're doing best overall player, I'm sorry, I think I'd have to vote for somebody else on his team that I think we all know his name of. But that's a discussion for later on in the show, because I want to get Doug Maurice on this, because I think this actually has some intrigue for a lot of Ohio State fans. Usually it's just roll out the footballs and go beat the brakes off another team. I mean, here you have an embarrassment of riches and a chance to do something really special that I thought was impossible to do at the end of last year when they started the 12-team playoff, and now that we have NIL and everything else. So that's coming up at 9:20 this morning. Dan Orlovsky was on Afternoon Drive yesterday. And first, credit to Dan, not just taking shots on the internet and taking shots on television or anything like that. Came on, talked to Browns fans, talked to Nick and Jonathan. I'll give him credit for that, because it seems to be pretty nuts that you would say, or basically even threaten Browns fans, it seems that, yeah, you go ahead, you fire Kevin Stefanski and see what happens. Like, it was like, whoa. Takes a lot of guts to say something like that after just getting hammered again. Again, you have 4 of your 7 losses are by blowout. It's not good.
That doesn't really happen very often in the NFL.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Dan Orlovsky gave his defense of Kevin Stefanski.
When he gets competent quarterback play, he wins a lot of games. And I understand that there's been losses, but, the year that he had Baker Field and Baker was healthy, they won 11 games. They won a playoff game. In a year where he had to go through 5 quarterbacks, but, Joe Flacco, certainly on the back end of his career, was still competent quarterback and playing at a competent level. They won 11 games. Those other years when it's been this revolving door of guys, none of those other guys have gone on to play good football outside of Joe this year. And everyone that wants to bring that argument to me, they got different animals in Cincinnati on the perimeter. My challenge to anybody would be this. He's a 2-time coach of the year. He's dealt with a lot of noise. He's never wavered or never buckled. And I would ask you, outside of those 2 years that he's had competent quarterback play and won 11 games, what coach does anybody think would do a better job?
Real quick, before I play the second clip of him, I sat there listening to that interview in my office, and I thought, how many coaches? You'd have a list a mile long of coaches standing there going, yeah, if I would have had competent quarterback play, I'd still be employed. Yeah, if I had competent quarterback play, I'd still be employed. To me, that's not really an excuse. I mean, that's just the way the NFL works. So that's how I took that real quick before we played the other clip. Here's him saying that maybe he would understand if things ran their course.
So I think Kevin Stefanski's a really good coach. Obviously, Cleveland is in a situation where they're going to need to get a quarterback. I have no idea what the contract situation is with Deshaun and what the dead cap space all is and how does that hinder. I think he's a really good coach. That doesn't mean that he has to stay in Cleveland. I think you need a type of quarterback that fits with his scheme the best, no question. And so if that's somebody in the draft that, like if Ty Simpson from Alabama is available and Cleveland wants to take him, he's the perfect stylistic quarterback for Kevin. So I would say keep him. But I also understand where you could be a good coach and it's kind of run its course in a certain location. And so I can understand that being a reality as well.
That whole interview, 923thefan.com, if you want to go back, or it's still available on the free Odyssey app for up to 24 hours.
I was conflicted hearing most of that.
Okay,
and I think,
tell me why, because I came away with one prevailing thought.
Okay, good, because it's been where I've been on Kevin. I've been totally conflicted. Like, I certainly don't think he's a bad coach, and I think people have gotten carried away. I do think the circumstances now surrounding this football team, if you were to ask anybody outside of Cleveland, and we're the closest to it, so we're going to hyper-analyze it on such an acute level, but if you were outside of Cleveland, you'd be saying, it's the Browns, the Watson thing didn't work out, and because it didn't work out, they were going to feel the pain, and these 2 years, they're feeling the pain. They're not really trying to win.
Okay.
That's what the prevailing wisdom is going to be, and that's why if he interviews elsewhere, that's what the sports talk show hosts in those cities are going to be talking about. Like, yeah, but Kevin was terrible those 2 years. And they'll be like, did you see who his quarterbacks were? Did you see the roster?
They will. But I think I'd say that for a lot of coaches. My thought of this, my prevailing thought of all of this, I agree with you. I don't think that Kevin has been exposed for 6 years of terrible work. I think there's been some good work in there. I think that he's done just about what a lot of good football coaches would do. And I would say that it's probably run its course by now. I mean, you're getting to a point with the fans where they can't take it anymore. I don't know if he can take it anymore. I think that he is saying the same thing to get through these press conferences. That tells me that I think something's going on in there that he don't like, and he's just not going to throw people under the bus. At least not yet.
Yeah, that's not who he is.
It's not him.
He's not somebody who is going to start sabotaging or. You know what, honestly, Kenny, and
read these tea leaves. I don't hear Mike Tomlin speaks his mind, but I don't hear him taking shots by name to a lot of people a lot of times. I don't hear that.
The way he went after Andrew Barry.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got to tell you, like, I'm frustrated with these press conferences, and to the point where I don't even want to play them anymore for our listeners. Like the cut-ups, like, what's the point? And it is very frustrating. I called it unprofessional to start out the week, but I do think a part of what he's probably doing is I think he knows, like, the end is near. There's going to be life after the Cleveland Browns. He doesn't need to start being petty with people in the front office. He's made a lot of money here. He's been here 6 years. I think he does like Andrew Barry. I think he does like everybody involved. But on a professional level, like, he doesn't strike me as the guy who, as the ship is going down, he's going to start throwing other people off the way that Hugh Jackson would.
Yeah.
He's just not that guy.
I don't think he's going to sue him later on and accuse him of taking him out. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right, so I think this is what it could be until the day he's let go, if he is let go.
Well, I keep going back to what Dan Orlovsky said and then what we don't hear in the press conferences, to the point that it's reached its pinnacle of frustration with Browns fans. The same, we got to be better, we got to coach better, we got to do this better. Like, Owen started putting together the things. I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to get to this after the break. You better not make him the scapegoat. Because I know what I thought last week. It's getting to me after hearing that interview, even after hearing Ross Tucker flip-flop yesterday, or just naturally come to a different conclusion. It's got to be all or nothing. I'll tell you why coming up next. 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, Mary Kay Cabot, 8:20 this morning. Could Deshaun play before Shedeur? We're coming to you live right here from these studios in downtown Cleveland. 92.3 The Fan, 92.3thefan.com. Watch us live on YouTube Live, 92.3 The Fan. Subscribe as well for free.
Anthony Lima for Floors with a Z.
All the Browns and NFL news you may have missed at work. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
We can be better. We will be better. Can Dylan play better? Yes, he can. Can we play better around him? Yes, we can. Can we coach him better? Yes, we can. That's something that we just have to be better collectively. I think there's things that we can do better around him. And for us, the focus is on being better.
It's a deposition. It is a deposition. See, I got mad on Monday, but there's definitely things he just doesn't want to tell you. He doesn't want to tell you because I think that there's things that he believes, Kevin, there are things that he believes I think that have happened that are unfair. And I think that the Joe Flacco trade was one. Guys, we were all shocked. How many people to a man thought that Bailey Zappi was going to be the backup? And they don't say nothing. Now, I'm not trying to make this a Shador conversation. I got a Shador conversation for another time. But we all thought that Bailey Zappi was going to be the backup. We had heard nothing, but, he's just not ready, and all of a sudden Shador Sanders is the backup. And so he's one play away. And somebody brought this up, and I had to say, and I'm hopefully I tweeted him back yesterday because I was walking in through the parking lot yesterday, where someone goes, well, if he's so far behind, why is he one injury away from playing? I go, yeah, I know. I think that's what he's kind of wondering himself. He's kind of wondering the same thing. And this is coming from me, pro Shador guy. And I'm going, you're not. My fear about Shador, real quick, is that I think that because I think there's folks who are just going, hey, we're going to evaluate and he's going to play. I don't think they're putting him in a position to succeed. And I think that could end up getting blamed on Kevin and even the coaching staff. And I've been hard on all of them. But I think that could end up getting blamed on Kevin and the coaching staff where I'm going, maybe it should be blamed on the guys in the suits. And this is where I said to you last week, I could see a scenario, after Paul DeBodesta left, I could see a scenario where Andrew gets bumped up to team president. But I don't want to turn Kevin into some scapegoat. Well, because if you're doing this with quarterbacks now, you've not learned your lesson from Baker Mayfield, and you will do this again with, as Dan said, Ty Simpson or God knows who.
Well, not only that, now we're to the point where Stefanski, and he can deserve a bunch of the blame too, he's going to get blamed no matter what. If Shador Sanders comes in and looks terrible, it's going to be like this was sabotaged from moment one. Mm-hmm. You weren't giving him a chance. You weren't giving him enough reps, so he couldn't develop. So what was the point of all this? And if he looks great, it's going to be, oh my God, you guys can't evaluate quarterbacks at all. You got rid of Joe Flacco, and he looks amazing in Cincinnati, and you put off Shador Sanders, and now he comes in and plays great immediately, and you guys threw away the season because you didn't identify that, and you played Dylan Gabriel instead. He's to the point where there's no win now. There's no. He's been put in the corner, and the scapegoat thing. That's going to happen no matter what now. Because, fans, every year you don't go to the playoffs and win playoff games, fans lose their love of a head coach, even if he was doing things that were pretty incredible to start out. Every year that doesn't happen, more people jump off that bandwagon of a head coach, and it's hard for them to get back in.
And you're right. And guys, there is a time where it's just natural, like the fans aren't going to have you anymore. Do you even want this situation anymore? The grass can be greener with another organization. Maybe it's time we split. Because I could look back on it, like if they improve their situation and they go, hey, we're going to move on from Kevin, and they go to one of my guys on the list, and it's just my personal thoughts. I mean, there's a million other thoughts, right? It's not like that's going to fix it, but let's go with this. Say they pick one of the guys on my list that's in the envelope. And that guy goes on and they're successful. Say they get it right. I'm like, hey, and Kevin even goes on and becomes successful. It's like, hey, there was a break here. That's the way it had to go. But what my issue is becoming is that I realize this as I'm hearing Dan Orlovsky talk yesterday on that interview with Nick and Jonathan, is that all this becomes, why does everything become an investigation? It's always an investigation to see where it went wrong. And I'm like going, damn it, Dan Orlovsky has a point. Because, and he didn't say scapegoat. He didn't say don't turn Kevin into scapegoat. I'm saying it now. Because he's saying, no, it could run its course with the Browns. And I go, I could see Kevin Stefanski with somebody else, and we are still having these same conversations about this situation. Because what did I just say about the quarterback? You haven't learned your lessons. You're just putting guys ahead, putting them through before they're ready to go, because we have to evaluate something that we might not even need to evaluate. You're not evaluating anybody if you don't put them in a position to succeed. So is Dylan Gabriel playing already before he was ready to play? I know what Joe looked like. I know what I said. I'm a radio guy. I don't know any better. They're supposed to know better, right? Right. So they know what they did, and I could look at it going, man, 3 years, we could be sitting there as we've torpedoed another rookie quarterback because we've done this, that, and the other, thinking that we know everything that we're doing. And it's not even about Kevin going on and having success. Kevin could go out and be 9-8, 10-7, whatever it is. He doesn't even have to be that successful. But we're looking at going, we made a scapegoat out of this guy. We made these same mistakes. We've ruined another young quarterback's career because we don't know how to evaluate. We think we need to evaluate. We need to see it. If they're not ready, we're not going to see anything good. So we're already self-fulfilling the prophecy that these guys are going to be bad, man. And so that's what I'm sick of. I'm sick of everything becoming an investigation about where it went wrong. And so if it's just Kevin, or if moves have to be made at the end of the year, it can't be just Kevin. It can't be just Kevin. If you're going to move on, you move on. And it's going to be a tough process, and I'm going to be up at a lot of nights. It's the way it goes. Because I'll tell you what, I'll be up even more at night if they just scapegoat Kevin. Scapegoat's a tough word. If they just let go of Kevin. Because then they got to prove themselves, and now there's no DiPodesta for me to sit there and blame as some sort of Wizard of Oz boogeyman. Now it's on you.
And by the way, they've had 6 years.
And it sounds
they've
so much.
They've had the same amount of time.
And when I say it sounds so much like that, because remember, at one point it was just Odell. Excuse me, at one point it was just Hugh. At one point, it was just Sashi. At one point, it was just Odell. At one point, it was just Baker. At one point, it was just Freddie.
And so think about
this. We just keep going from different people to blame.
Okay, so as well chronicled, what was the order of operations when putting together this entire brain trust? It was they hired Kevin first, right?
Yeah.
Then they went and got Andrew Barry, and they knew Andrew Barry or whatever. But that was the order. If after 6 years, and now DiPodesta is gone, it is the coach is gone, but Andrew Barry gets either promoted or keeps his gig. What happened over the course of 6 years? How did Andrew Barry gain more trust with the disastrous drafts he had? And, there was some good, some bad in terms of player acquisition, but bringing 4 quarterbacks.
I'm not going to answer a question. I'm not going to give a reason. I don't know.
This year, not having your offensive line where there's going to be humongous turnover, not having a plan for your offensive line, to the point where you had all those picks last year and you drafted 2 quarterbacks and 2 running backs, but you didn't draft any offensive line. Like, how is it that he gets to stay, he saved his job and ends up winning whatever power struggle might have been going on behind the scenes?
What I wish I could tell you, I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not going to try to give you an answer to it. I'm not going to give you some theory that I have to try to back up if I don't mean it later on. When the issue is becoming here, is that, and I don't like it either, where I spend a Monday getting mad at Kevin, and then as the week goes on, it becomes Kevin's a victim. I'm not painting Kevin out to be a victim. He's not. Okay, he's the head coach of this football team. I wish that a guy who's had 6 years experience and is the 2-time coach of the year, the 2-time coach of the year should get more power. Somehow he's had that taken away from him. And I don't even know how much power he had to begin with. And the ideas that have come have usually been ideas that are devoid of heart, that don't have the proper mentality to go into a locker room to make those actual real heart and soul evaluations. I think you got the math right, but you do need to put together a team. And I don't think that they've put together a team. And I think that Tommy Rees is showing you, and I think a lot of people are showing you, there's a lot of things that you just can't do with this football team because the offensive line is getting too old. The backups behind them are not too good. You have a wide receiver core that is one of the absolute worst in the NFL, to the point that we are sitting there celebrating on TV news locally, all 4 networks, including my own, the triumphant return of Cedric Tillman. That's how bad the wide receiver room is. Well, who built that? So if you're going to do it, it should be everybody. Because I have a terrible, terrible feeling. I'm 39 right now. I could be sitting here with you at 42 years old going, oh my God, we're doing it again. And we're sitting here jumping from one person to blame to another person to blame. All it is finding one singular person. That's the problem. No, he's the problem. Instead of building. Finding ways to ask for more time instead of building. Finding ways to go, well, we should really be losing here. We shouldn't be winning. Instead of trying to build. And the problem, and I even say that knowing wholeheartedly that they've taken a couple of guys in this year's draft that I really like.
Yeah.
I think Carson Schlesinger, let me say this. For him to go out there after that ankle injury and to go play his ass off against the Jets and then to take a shoulder injury, that's the type of guy you need. A guy who actually has talent and a guy that I think that as he grows into his position and in his role with the football team will hopefully police that locker room and hold people accountable. That's the type of people you need, not just talent. Guys that can actually carry that. I thought JOK could be that guy. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and I don't know if we're ever going to see him again, sad to say. You need more guys like that. So there's been a sprinkle there, but have you taken enough over 6 years? I don't think you have. To the point where, hey, yeah, we talk about Deshaun Watson and people go, oh, gosh. I saw the article about bringing back you-know-who after a year off of football. Do I need to say his name? Should I say his name for everybody?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jed Wills. I saw that article over the weekend.
What's he doing this year?
Hate to spoil your breakfast, everybody. Taking a year off to recover. But he might be the best option they have because his draft pick wasn't that good to begin with, and the people you tried to replace him with were really, really bad. 216-474-0092. Matt in Westlake, you're first up on the Fan. Hello, Matt. Got to go quick. Go ahead.
Good morning, Jess. You're overcomplicating this. Get rid of Barry, get rid of Stefanski, and look at Vrabel, what he's done in a short time in New England. Go Browns.
Well, Matt, am I overcomplicating it, or are the Browns overcomplicating it?
Well, you, sir, are correct. It would be our friends in Berea.
There you go, Matt. Thank you very much for the call. I mean, I just said if you're going to make a move, it's got to be all of them. It's got to be all of them. Because it's gotten to a point where I'm tired of finding different guys to paint as the bad guy. You know, the guy I said before, he's going to Denver. He's going to Colorado. I had a problem with him because he didn't come out and face the media when things were bad. I had a problem with him because he didn't have boots on the ground. I had a lot of problems with him. Okay? But he can only do so much. Now he's gone. Who else do I have to blame? Because Andrew's here. Andrew's not speaking to the media. Kevin's here. Kevin has to speak to the media. I can't just keep blaming one guy and turning that guy into the villain. No. It's got to be all of them, or it's got to be none of them. 216-474-0092. Would you be okay if it was just Stefanski? All that. We do have a question about who plays who before quarterback in the situation. And can I have 3 minutes on a different subject when we come back? Because finally, a coach said the quiet part out loud yesterday. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, that and 5 on the Fan. Peter and Company Jewelers, I'm going to say the loud part quietly.
They took bribes to help gamblers win on bets placed when it involved pitches he threw. He's released on a $500,000 bond. Meanwhile, Emanuel Clase set to be arraigned later on this afternoon. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show, followed by Thursday Night Football. All starts tonight at 7, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Speaking of head coaches, give me 3 minutes on this because I love what this guy said. I just don't think he was the big enough guy to say it. Sorry. UAB men's basketball, they lost a game to a D2 school. Was it a D2 school or was it just lower tier?
I'm not even sure who they lost to.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just saw the press conference.
This is fantastic. Here we go. Their coach's name is Andy Kennedy. And give me 3 minutes on this.
Yeah, he was at Cincinnati.
They lost Alabama State. Alabama State is that's not D2. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
He was at Ole Miss and Cincinnati.
Okay. So Andy Kennedy was doing his post-game press conference, went around the internet. Lima sent this to me yesterday. I go, finally somebody said it, but I just don't know if he's the right guy to say it. Here's Andy Kennedy. Post-game, this is the only clip you'll probably ever hear of UAB basketball, so drink it up.
Again, I don't want to call these kids out. Of course, I don't know why we don't do that anymore. Are we not going to change that now that we're paying them? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we not going to change that? Somebody needs to think about that. Everything else has changed. We're not going to name names anymore. I mean, you couldn't do that forever. So now we're not going to do it. Something to think about. I won't set the precedent.
He's right. However, if he were the head coach at Kentucky, I could see it. Like, my thought was, I had a lot of people who got in when we first did NIL. I go, well, do I start ripping guys now? Because it was like I didn't feel comfortable ripping Joe Bauserman or anything like that. Because I'm like, okay, I'm sure there's perks there at Ohio State, but
yeah,
technically not getting paid. It just made me feel weird to really get nasty about it. Paid quarterbacks in the NFL, I'll rip all day long. But when it comes to that, it was a little weird. But Andy Kennedy saying, well, they're paying them. I can't call them out by name now. I can't say it. It's like, well, you probably don't want to say it because it's an early season game, and there's always upsets. I mean, I think Kansas has lost to Oral Roberts before and things like that. There's always early season upsets.
That's been going on for
and so I'm like, and I go, wait a minute, how much can a guy from UAB be making? I know they spent a bunch of money on Trent Dilfer. I imagine that was where all the money went. I can't imagine a basketball player at UAB, men's basketball, is making that much money. And then I go, does it matter how much they make?
Yeah, the basketball is a little more than the football at those schools because they have to. You literally can't get a player worth anything. If you're going to pour any kind of investment into college basketball, you have to pay the players something.
Yeah, okay.
In college football, there are so many guys not making any, literally zero.
Okay. So, but does that mean I can rip the college basketball players even at UAB because they're making money? I can roll up my sleeves and go, all right, here we go. Anthony Lyman, Mitch Spinell, you're the power forward for the UAB Blazers. Here we go. I'm going to let you have it. Can I do that?
No, I see what you're saying. Like you're at that caliber of school.
What are you making comparatively? Yeah, exactly. I don't know UAB to be some basketball, even a mid-major basketball powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like Ohio State just secured a big time recruit, and the numbers that I am hearing, I'm like, holy cow! I didn't know Ohio State basketball cared that much. Like I couldn't believe the amount of millions we are talking, and that's basketball. But you're right, UAB is going to be at a different strata completely.
Like if I found out a guy was making $500,000 a year to play the three at UAB, all right, fine. I guess I'm going to rip away. That's a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, I do imagine you've got a couple starters on UAB that are making six-figure plus.
At UAB?
Yeah, you have to. You can't. You might as well fold the program.
Well, what about a program that really cares about basketball, like Kent State and Akron? Do you got how many guys they got making six figures?
There are a few guys. Yeah, to your best player, you've kind of got to do that now.
I could understand one, but a few?
I'll ask. I'll find out.
Please do.
By the end of the show, I'll be able to tell you.
So if they make $100,000,
is that bad? By the way, that we're sitting here openly talking about players and the money they're making.
No, I mean we pocket wash players all the time. Why not go to the college players if they're making that much money? So if they're making $100,000, is that enough for me to go ahead and rip?
Well, people rip us every day, and what do we make?
I'm not going to tell them. What? I'm not going to tell them.
Yeah, but if you want to tweet me your guesses, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think that's a great idea.
But you get the picture. Like they're in the public eye, and the fact is, listen, people are gambling on these games. And that has been an uncomfortable truth. We've known they've always gambled on college basketball. But now, especially with all the stories that have gone public in the NBA, and boy, it went under the radar. There was a college hoops story a week ago, a bunch of programs that the NCAA had to come clean about some of the investigations that were going on. So I think that's part of it, too. If people are gambling on these games... Yeah, they're saying far worse things about these players than what Andy Kennedy is thinking about.
All right, that's fair.
They're calling them all sorts of names you don't want to say.
But should a coach also be able to do that since they're getting paid?
Yeah,
because I think even NBA guys, now NBA is a different animal altogether, so maybe that's a bad example, but I just don't know. I mean, team-wise, is it good to call out your own guys by that just because they're getting paid, especially when it's November, you got a whole season?
Well, that's a hard thing. There's a delicate balance because we're only looking at it from the coach's perspective. What about the either boosters or the local business owners, the car owners? What about when they're paying guys?
That's a good point.
Kenny, we just saw a commercial with Drew Aller. That's a national commercial we just saw with Drew Aller.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a lot of money being dumped into players. What about Garrett Nussmeier, who got benched?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that guy's got a 7-figure deal, right? 7-figure deal. That guy's got to have a 7-figure deal. Or if you add it all up,
it's weird.
And those boosters, they want to turn off the faucet when a guy gets benched or a guy gets injured. They don't want to keep paying guys.
It is weird what my head does because I see Drew Aller and I see who's a guy? How many other guys have struggled who made a lot of money? Who's a couple of other college quarterbacks?
Dylan
Raiola. He's hurt.
Yeah,
he's hurt, but he's been okay. The Patrick Mahomes thing's weird. But okay, let me give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Mahomes. You see, I almost called him Patrick Mahomes. Dylan Raiola takes a lot of heat. I'm like, well, at least he got paid. At least he got money.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like he got a lot of money. If I'm reading a bunch of nasty things and saying a bunch of nasty things on the air and fanning the flames to get people upset and say there needs to be change with Nebraska football, and I found out that Dylan Raiola got $5,000, like, well, that's a drop in the bucket to play college football, for crying out loud, or college basketball, for crying out loud. Is there a money threshold where I'm going to go, that's okay. I still got to get that figured out because we're going through a weird place right now. And there are times where guys, they just get hammered, and I go, well, he's doing his best. I don't know. And then I'm sure there's plenty of car dealers in State College, Pennsylvania, who are looking at some of these Penn State guys going, what the hell did I just pay for?
And I know we got to move on, but we've always talked about them as student athletes. Now you don't hear anybody talk about the student part of it. You just don't hear, except at certain schools, you do not hear the student part of it talked about. And if they are taking classes, it's all online, so they're not even really in the university. They're not part of the fabric of the university. Yeah. They're not studying over at the quad with their team.
Yeah.
Like, they're not doing that.
The only time I do hear it is during halftime shows of radio broadcasts when I'm driving around on a Saturday. Like, I was doing Christmas lights, and I heard our student athletes, and I'm up there on the ladder going, oh, student athletes. All right. That's the only time I think of it. All right, moving on. Thank you very much for the few minutes on that. We got Mary Kay coming up at 8:20. So, Dan Orlovsky was extolling the virtues of Kevin Stefanski. And my whole point of this, I'm going to get back to the phones here in a second. My whole point of this is that if you're going to do it, it can't. We've done the whole one or the other. If you had to keep one or the other, could you see him keeping one or the other? I could see him keeping one or the other. I could see that. I could see making you choose. But I think that most people go, no, they all got to go. They either all stay somehow, some way, or they all got to go.
Yeah, the problem is I don't think the owner has the appetite for another house cleaning. I just don't think he does.
I don't think he does either.
The fact that these guys have been here 6 years shows that they have built a certain level of trust that none of their predecessors had been able to build.
But I think that I need to get it through going, hey, you need to think long and hard about this. If you do want to move on, then I think you have to think about everybody. Because again, look at the history. Why are we going through just blaming one guy or the other throughout this entire situation? We just keep going and blaming one guy. Again, I said it last segment. I said, well, then it was Deshaun's fault. Then it was Kevin's fault. Then it was Ken Dorsey's fault. Then it was Kevin's fault again. And maybe now it's going to be Tommy Rees' fault. At one point, it was Alex Van Pelt's fault. I mean, we just keep blaming one guy. And I think it comes to the point where we're going, man, I'm tired of making my fans have to blame one guy. ultimately the owner doesn't go anywhere. The owner's always going to be where the buck stops. The owner's the one to blame. I can't just keep blaming guys and moving guys around based on who I trust that year. So there has to be something where maybe this level of cohesion is brought in here, because I think you could be confident in this. If you moved on from everybody, if you want to say we've had enough and that's it, I think you can be confident enough going, hey, we've made strides in our thinking. We've made strides in analytics. We've made strides in how we evaluate players. But the other teams in the NFL have as well. The guys that we bring in will have already been schooled in that. They will already be ready for that. I don't think that we have to worry unless you totally get swindled by a smooth talker. I can't imagine we're going to go back to the Stone Ages all of a sudden and give out any of the good work that was actually done over the last decade, because there was some good things too. They went to the playoffs twice. They did get some good players. It's not all terrible. The results have been bad, and right now we feel terrible. It hasn't all been bad. There have been some good things, and I told you, I think because the Browns felt like they were like the first one to it, I think a lot of teams looked at what the Browns did and saw what they did and brought football guys up who were 20 years old at the time. Now they're 30, 35 years old. Now they think that way. And I think at some point we kind of got caught in the past. I think we kind of did. I think we can move forward with different people. 216-474-0092. Vincent in Virginia. You're on the Free Odyssey app, and you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Good morning, guys. Yes, first of all, yes, we all know the Browns are the dumbest organization in the history of sports. And the fact is, I want Stefanski and Barry gone. Yeah, I think if they both cannot coexist and stay here next year, they don't get along now. There's a fracture between the owner, the general manager, and the coach. If you think about it, when they drafted Shedeur, did you see Stefanski's face? When they traded Joe Flacco, did you see Stefanski's face? He didn't even know he got traded. That's dysfunction at its highest level. I want Stefanski gone simply because after the Flacco trade, he gave up on this organization. He's been disloyal to the fans and to the 52 players in that locker room.
Kevin's been disloyal.
Yes, he has.
Explain.
How do you not put the best player on the field? You out here to win games. Those other 52 players didn't go through training camp, don't practice every day, don't go out there and put their lives and their bodies on the line to lose every week. He does not care about the Browns winning.
Wait a minute.
So what would be evidence? Hold on. What would be evidence that he cared then?
I think he might have cared at the beginning of the year.
No, but you said disloyal. What? Tell me the opposite then. What would he have done?
You're disloyal when you allow 52 other players to know they don't have a chance to go out and win.
So what would it have done? What would he have done to make it seem like they did have a chance? You're insinuating something.
Yes, I am.
Which
I'm
is
insinuating that he is not man enough to resign. He doesn't want to be here.
Oh.
I believe he will resign before he gets fired.
What should he have done, though, to prove his loyalty at the time?
Put the best players on the field, be a leader.
Are the best players not on the field?
Who is the best player that he doesn't have on the field?
I think that Shedeur Sanders is way better than Dylan Gabriel.
Well, finally we got you.
No, it's not a Shedeur Gabriel thing. I've been a Browns fan since I'm 5 years old. Favorite team is Cardiac Kids. I want excitement back in the Browns. I would rather go watch.
So why do you think they're not playing him?
Because Stefanski doesn't like him. Do you all realize
he doesn't like his talent, or he doesn't like him as a person or a player? What do you mean?
I don't think he likes him as a person. Do you realize? No, seriously. Do you all realize he's in love with Dylan Gabriel? Dylan Gabriel's coach does not like Deion Sanders or his father. When they played him in college, when Colorado was 4-0, he said some teams play for wins and some teams play for clicks.
That was Dan Lanning. That was Dan Lanning who said that.
Exactly. And what did Dylan Gabriel say? Some people play for entertainment. Some people play.
Well, what does Kevin Stefanski have to do with that?
No, what I am saying, he has that same type of mentality about Shedeur Sanders. That's why he won't play
so
him.
So you think Sanders is on this team against Stefanski's will?
Oh, most definitely. Did you see his face at the draft when they picked him?
Do you believe that Let me ask you this.
Well, now we're getting to something here.
Yeah, let me ask you this.
We are getting to a point that I think a lot of people agree with him.
That's true. A lot of people do. But let me ask you this here, Vincent. Do you believe that Kevin Stefanski wanted Bailey Zappi as the backup or Shedeur Sanders as the backup?
He wanted Bailey Zappi. He does not like Shedeur Sanders. He barely says that Shedeur Sanders is a professional.
So who made Shedeur the backup then to you?
Stefanski. He's the coach.
So wait, he wanted Bailey Zappi to be the backup, but he made Shedeur the backup instead.
He had to, because he realized that at some point it looks moronic. You trade your Flacco, you bring Zappi back, who you've seen this idiot the year before, and then you look at it from the standpoint. Let me give you another scenario.
No, wait. But let me ask you this though. Wouldn't you then? Didn't the Jets game look moronic? Didn't the Patriots game look moronic? Wouldn't you put him out there then? Well, you couldn't put him at the one game he wasn't active for. I understand, but so wouldn't you put him out there then?
You all don't realize he is not going to do it. If he does not have to play Shedeur Sanders, basically what Kevin Stefanski says, if I'm dead meat, Andrew Barry, you're coming along with me. That's how fractured this organization is, but you all can't see that because Barry and Stefanski don't get along. I don't think anyway. Okay. Simply because look at how the personnel is handled.
All right.
I don't know who hired, who drafted. I don't know if it was Barry or if it was the owner forcing them to draft Shedeur. I do know Stefanski didn't want anything to do with Shedeur.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. And Vincent, thank you very much for the call. I don't know if I don't think he doesn't like Shedeur personally. I don't think that at all. I do think that he probably didn't want to play Dylan Gabriel as early as he did, and I think he damn sure doesn't want to play Shedeur Sanders earlier than he thinks he needs to. That's what I think he's doing. The timelines have been sped up, and so you have Dylan Gabriel playing before he's ready. And as Lima said, I can't find a lot of people in the building stumping saying this kid should start, this kid needs to be starting, Shedeur needs to be starting. I haven't heard that. So if I haven't heard that from anybody saying he should be starting, then I'm just going to, as of right now, I hate to assume things, but I have to draw a conclusion right now to say they clearly don't think he's ready. So then you'd be starting him before he's ready to do it. And that's not going to help out Shedeur Sanders. That's not going to help out anybody. 216-474-0092. Cavs won last night. If the Cavs win a basketball game and you weren't watching, did it happen? It's about last night, coming up in 5 on the Fan. Window Nation. Boy, do I got it.
Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
So much can happen around the globe that we never hear of.
Embarrassing. We got to be better on defense.
It won't matter till April. I think we know that. Y'all gonna write us off. We could go 82-0, no one would care.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him, how he couldn't please his wife, and so now he's divorced.
Put a damn winning team on the field.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Well, last night was a bounce-back victory for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who beat the Miami Heat 130-116 behind a quote-unquote heroic performance via Kenny Atkinson by Craig Porter Jr. at 19 points, 9 assists off the Cavaliers bench. And we got this clip from a caller earlier today, a request, talking about the culmination of Porter's work in the offseason.
Me and him had some tough conversations this summer, kind of one-on-one, kind of man-to-man, coached the player and, told him the things we needed. He agreed. We've just kind of had a pact, I need you in here early. We need you in here early.
I'm not going to lie, that's not the first player I would have thought he had a heart-to-heart with this offseason.
I'm glad you played that audio because we got called out on it that we didn't have that audio, and Rodney in Litchfield was right. It was a great game that I saw half of. And a lot of Cavs fans agree with me.
You missed the best part.
Lima got mad, and I still don't even know why well, I understand why you were mad, but either way.
So he ended up, Porter Jr., 19 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks. 4 blocks in that game.
I was just saying, I didn't have his height listed on here. He's not the biggest guy in the world, so that's huge coming up for a potential Cavs defense that was very staunch later on in last night's game.
This is a staunch defense.
I used that yesterday, too.
Staunch.
Going to the Browns yesterday, Kevin Stefanski, a big talking point for us this week has been accountability. How does he hold the guys accountable? How does Kevin hold himself accountable? Well, he was asked about holding players accountable yesterday in his press conference.
We hold every player accountable for everything we do. I'm accountable for everything we do. So you just try to be very open and transparent and honest with your football team. A lot of that doesn't make it outside this building, and then that's just kind of part of being a family as you keep things in-house. But our guys understand that part of the accountability is a shared accountability, so it's all of us.
They do anything for you?
At all. I don't believe that whatsoever. I think he's accountable because he's the one that's got to go out and speak to it every single day, but I don't think they're accountable for anything.
It has been really interesting to see the fallout from we ended up posting a clip on our social media from earlier in the week when I said, I think this is when you cut a guy. I think this is an easy guy to cut.
That was on Cam Thomas.
Yeah, he's made other mistakes. He's done some good things too, but he's made other mistakes. I think it would have been the easiest guy to cut, and it's just the fact that they don't cut a guy. People are like, they don't do that in the NFL. I'm like, they do it all the time. Every week there is a laundry list of guys that get cut, and some of them are a little more public than others, like what Mike Tomlin said about Juan Thornhill. Basically say he's not good enough. He's not good enough at all. Like, that does happen in other places. It's not just Mike Tomlin. Here in Cleveland, there just hasn't been a lot of that. And I did find last year we did cut Kadarius Toney. So there was the roller coaster of him. Remember?
Never mind. We run a tight ship around here. We have a high standard. Isn't he rapping now?
Is he really?
I thought it was him who was rapping now. I swear to God, I think I saw a former Giants wide receiver who was rapping now. Someone find it. Go ahead.
Speaking of the Giants, there has been some talk the last couple of days after the Giants parted ways with head coach Brian Daboll that they might go back to one of their former digs. And one college coach, Bill Belichick, who's currently at Carolina, talked about it at his press conference yesterday, was asked how is he addressing his players and potential prospects here with the potential talks.
Yeah, getting ready for Wake Forest. That's all I got this week.
Has anyone asked you, or the players or recruits want to know about your future?
I mean, I've been asked about it from time to time, but I've been down this road before. I'm focused on Wake Forest. That's it. And that's my commitment to this team. I'm here to do the best I can for this team.
You think the Giants will go for a Hail Mary like that?
No, God, no. By the way, yes, I believe Kadarius Toney is. He just has a new album. It has 10 songs.
It is Warrior for Life, and it's under the stage name Young Joka.
Young Joka?
Wish him well.
Young Joka.
Okay, so Belichick, after the blowout loss to UCF and Clemson, they lose by 3 at Cal, 1 at Virginia. They beat Syracuse by 17. They beat Stanford. Is Bill Belichick, is he turning around the Tar Heels right now?
No.
They're not getting better?
They got
not getting better as a football team?
Who's got left on the schedule?
They got Wake Forest and Duke, NC State on the road.
State. They're losing. They're losing 2 of the 3 of those games. So where are they going to finish? 4 and 8? It's worse than when Mac found them.
Isn't this where you'd see the Belichick coaching edge, is whether a team gets better over the course of the year? He finally gets his bearings. He learns about this level of football.
He just lost a certain St. Ed's lineman.
He did?
To Ohio State. So is he making UNC better? No, he's not.
Last thing on the Giants here, they'll have a new quarterback this week, and one, Jameis Winston, who appeared in front of the media yesterday, and, kind of continue what we saw last year in Cleveland.
I want fans to know that I'm going to do my best. Obviously, I'm going to have fun, but I'm going to execute, have a surgical execution, and just play ball, man. Like, this is something I've been doing since I've been 4 years old. Now I just get to do it in the greatest city in the world. I'm going to be saying it with my son. It's the greatest city in the world. Yeah, that's a Hamilton reference, if y'all don't know.
I kind of miss him.
Hell yeah! How much better would 2-7 be if Jameis was here?
He is a blast.
It would be.
He absolutely is a blast.
This is untenable.
Now,
this
he's
would at
not
least
a
be
blast.
palatable.
He's not a blast on a team trying to win and trying to contend or anything like that. But if you're going to have a bad team, Jameis Winston, he's kind of must see. He's entertaining on the field. He's entertaining off the field. Last year,
it'd be so much more fun if he was here still.
Last year at Rodney McLeod's event that we were at, Jameis showed up. Not only did he show up, he was like the last person to leave.
Oh my God!
He was putting on a show for everybody.
Yeah,
took pictures with everybody.
Anthony and I were eating out of his hands.
Yeah.
He could have put stuffing in his hand and we would have been like pecking at it like birds, like pigeons. A big fat pigeon and one who looks like a rat. He would have been feeding the rats.
Feeding the rats.
That's it for about last night.
It was amazing. It was amazing. God, come on, can Mike Kafka just cut him and put Russell Wilson? I don't want Russell Wilson here. I just want Jameis back. Just make this fun. Make this fun, because this isn't fun. This is not fun at all. This is not fun at all. Damn it. Mary Kay coming up at 8:20. You have a problem with that accountability conversation that he just had? That accountability clip that he just played?
I want to bring that up.
I knew you did. I could see it in your eye. There's a glint in Tone's eye. All right. That's not just dead coal behind those eyes. He's got something on his sleeve there. We'll get that. And what bothers me most is you will say that you don't even care if he plays anymore. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
Anthony Lima.
Football All-Star Night at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
Back on the Fan. Mary Kay, 8:20 this morning. What do you want to make sure we ask Mary Kay?
I'd like her to ask
what was the
about
big thing
what
that
she
Mary
is
Kay
hearing
yeah.
behind the scenes about Shedeur and his readiness. Because
if the players are telling her that they want him to play.
Because it's one thing, I understand what everybody has said after yesterday. I'm like, why isn't Josina Anderson? Why isn't Jonathan Jones? Why aren't all the NFL insiders? Why aren't they saying that? I am hearing from inside the Browns how amazing or how undeniable the talent is of Shedeur, especially on a team going nowhere with a quarterback playing as poorly. He's getting humiliated in videos that are being sent. Why aren't we seeing any of that? And some people have said, and this is totally fair, they've been like, well, he's not getting first-team reps. He's not getting the reps. He's not getting the reps. He's not getting the reps. And I'm like, I don't think him throwing the football was ever the problem. We all know that Shedeur Sanders has more arm talent than Dillon Gabriel. I don't think anybody here on this show has denied that. Mm-hmm. Maybe some people who bought that fake story about the velocity at the Senior Bowl or whatever it was Dillon Gabriel was at.
I did.
What was it? You bought that story about he set the record and it was a bogus story?
Yeah, and then I watched him throw footballs.
Guilty as charged.
So all I'm saying is it's the other things that I would have expected by now we would be hearing from inside the building like, oh, no, he's up to speed. He has it down. Like, let's go. And we haven't heard it. So I want to hear from Mary Kay.
I want you to hear from Kevin Stefanski because he mentioned accountability, and I saw a glint in Lima's eye, and I go, stop what we're going to do at 8. We're going to do this right now. Here is Kevin Stefanski on accountability.
We hold every player accountable for everything we do. I'm accountable for everything we do. So you just try to be very open and transparent and honest with your football team. A lot of that doesn't make it outside this building, and that's just kind of part of being a family as you keep things in-house. But our guys understand that part of the accountability is a shared accountability, so it's all of us.
So here's my issue.
It's a shared accountability.
I don't doubt that when somebody makes a mistake...
Where's the guy who picked the players? I didn't speak to the media last week. It's a shared accountability. We are all accountable.
Where's the other guy that he's supposed to strategize with? He's in San Diego and he doesn't go.
He only spoke when he was leaving to go to the Colorado Rockies.
But he still didn't come to Cleveland.
And then in the interview, basically said he was dreaming about going back to baseball the whole time.
And that he admitted it was going to take lots of years to get acclimated to football.
I'm glad my football team. Yeah,
apparently it takes 12 years.
It's going to take lots of years. And then I dreamed about doing something else the entire time. I controlled your guys' football team that you guys live and die with, and you guys hold as a tradition and as a member of your own family. I was dreaming about doing something else. Took the responsibility very seriously. It's a shared accountability around these parts. Just want to let you guys know that.
So here's my issue. Like, I don't doubt that the Browns go over the film and they tell Cameron Thomas, like, why'd you jump off?
I thought you were going to blame Cam Justice for a second. I went, what the hell? She didn't jump off sides.
Why'd you jump off sides?
Back to that other side.
Yeah.
Main Justice.
Yeah. Cayenne pepper.
One of the best scenes ever.
All right, so I don't doubt that they go over all of that stuff. Same thing with Devin Bush. Why are you holding on to... Okay, you're bad. My bad. You're bad. My bad. Is that real accountability for a multi-billion-dollar business?
No.
Is that real accountability?
Is it?
Or do you think in some other buildings they go a step further than your bad, my bad?
They've already got a hand sign for accountability, and Dillon Gabriel does it every game.
Yeah, it's on me. It's on me. But then he plays again. And then he plays again.
He does that more than he completes passes. It's on me.
So what's at stake here? And that's my continual
what's at stake?
Disagreement. What is at stake for any of these players, assistant coaches, decision makers? They've all been here. They all continue to be here. Nobody gets cut. Nobody gets fired.
Not a damn thing.
And I'm not even suggesting that. And you don't hear us do this. When have we ever done this? We never come on the air every week and say, this guy needs to be cut, this guy needs to be fired.
I actually did that week one.
Bubba, earlier in the year, you did it with the kicker.
I actually did that in the first week.
All right, I guess this show does it a lot. Bubba...
Very first game of the year, I go, cut him.
But either way, they don't do it.
Now he's the most consistent thing on the field.
This just happened. Detroit 5-3 before this week's game.
I never claimed I was a football guy.
What did the head coach do? He took over the play calling duties. That would never happen in Cleveland for a 5-3 team. We'd be getting the Super Bowl
that's
tickets
a hell of
lined
a
up.
Point. That's a great point. I can't believe you did that. That team's 5-3.
They're 5-3,
Yeah.
and the head coach, he didn't tell anybody, but he just took the play calling back from Johnny Morton. Okay, does that happen?
He's not on the list. I'm going to let you guys know that right now.
Now, maybe you'd say, well, he gave up play calling twice, 2 times in 2 years. Was he pressured to do it? They're not very forthright with a lot of that stuff, so we don't know. But that's something Kevin Stefanski is saying. I'll be held accountable for that, I guess. Handed over the play calling.
Great.
But I just think other teams do it more frequently. I think there are probably some teams that do it way too frequently. They probably overreact. Nobody would accuse the Browns of overreacting. They don't do it. They don't overreact. No. But I do think there comes the time when your season is heading towards a cliff. It might already be there. There's nothing but losing. You have veterans. You have a lot of veterans on that football team. Nobody, you can't ever go public with a criticism. We're that worried about people's feelings. Again, I do think it can go too far, like Bobby Knight, Indiana. Yeah, probably went too far after a while.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Like there's a governor that you can have on that stuff.
Bobby Knight's a strong example. That's why I used him.
He also won national championships.
So what did you want him to admonish Cam Thomas publicly? Or?
I think it's okay to do it. I see it all over the league, all 32 teams. I see guys getting admonished, except here.
But I know my reaction. I know how I would react.
Deshaun Watson, did they help Deshaun Watson? Did they help that football team by never just admitting that he was, that he was horrendous?
Jimmy did it during the offseason.
Instead, they gave him game balls. They gave him game balls after poor performances.
They gave the captain.
Like, can't we at least come to the conclusion? Can't we all be at least aligned on one thing?
What?
That they have coddled the players, the players and how they speak about them. They never want to throw them under the bus. There is a huge difference between doing it too much and never doing it.
Well, wait a minute. Is the refusal to budge on trade requests a way of not coddling them? Is that a way of accountability? I mean, David Njoku's asked for a trade twice. Kareem Hunt asked for a trade before, and then until he outlived his usefulness to the Browns, he's still useful. But until he outlived his usefulness, he wasn't going anywhere. I'm just that really isn't even a good answer. I know that answer. That's a no. When it comes to Cam Thomas, I'm going to go back to what you mentioned with him. I know how I'd react to go, oh, now you want to hold Cam Thomas accountable? Because all I could say is Cam Thomas was a guy who was filling in for Alex Wright because Alex Wright was hurt, who did not practice yesterday with the quad injury. So he's filling in for Alex Wright. He is an excitable guy, and I know it's an easy guy to cut, but at the same time, it feels like an easy guy to admonish. But I go, you got all types of other things going out there. You got all types of other things that are just not going well that people don't take seriously here. So if you're going to use Cam Thomas as the example, that's not going to fix everything.
But
what did I do when you mentioned Kadarius Toney getting cut? I go, oh, that fixed all your problems. You let go of Kadarius Toney. Why was he even being used in the first place?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess my point would be, it's not about the media or the fans getting our victory. They cut a guy that caused us discomfort, in a loss. It's not about that. It's about the locker room. There's a bunch of guys on. Do you think all 53 are like, oh man, get him next time, Cameron? No, they're pissed. They're livid. And yeah, I'm sure he has friends on the team, but if they cut him, I think people would be like, yeah, this is the NFL. This is professional football. What other way can we go over mistakes other than, hey, we watched it on film on Monday. That's your fault. Yep, that's my fault. I won't do that next time. Too late. The game's over. You lost. Now the season is careening in the wrong direction. Like, there are ways to send a message, and they don't do any of that unless they don't have the hill anymore to run. What do they make them run back and forth? Okay,
it's 2025. I don't know if we're making guys run that much.
So that's what I mean. What are the stakes?
Last
in
time
Berea?
it happened was with Freddie Kitchens, I'm not mistaken, and Chad Thomas cussed at some of the fans, and that was the end of that.
Listen, in New England for years under Belichick, guys said football's not fun. Is football too fun here, where there are no stakes, where it doesn't matter if you win or lose, where it seems like people are now saying, well, they were trying to lose this year.
Since when is this fun? I would like to know what's fun about any of this.
That's what I mean. I mean, David Njoku gives the interview and people loved it. Like, I love it here in Cleveland. Should you guys love it? Should anybody love it in Cleveland right now? You guys are losers. You're total losers.
Wait, who's the losers?
I'm saying they are.
Oh.
They are losers. They're getting made fun of every week because their quarterback looks like it looks like cartoon character right now. The way they're making him out to look in the cut-ups, the TikTok videos, and that is loser personified. And then they trot him back out there every game. And here they are. They're playing the Jets. Jets are tanking. They're getting rid of everybody. Nope, you lost to them too. And now you got Baltimore this week. Lamar Jackson's not even taking you seriously. He might not even show up to the facility this week before he'll just come to Cleveland and beat your ass. Like, that's where we're at right now. You're the laughing stock again, and you got David Njoku going, I love it here. I love it here. And people are like, that's awesome that he loves it here. What the hell is to love? What do you love here?
Well, don't go ripping on David for a second. David is looking for a contract eventually.
David Njoku should be miserable. They all should be miserable.
Who can be thrilled? Who on earth can be thrilled?
Are they?
I don't think they're having a good time. I
don't see any evidence of it.
Can I just share with everybody today? Can I just share something? I'll share one thing. I don't like to say what I see when I go into the building. I did not like the vibes yesterday. It was not a vibes of fun and frivolity.
Okay, good.
But to me, it wasn't really a vibe of, we're going to kick Baltimore's ass. I think it was like, this sucks.
They're playing out the string.
That's the vibe I got.
And that's why your tickets are they down to $6 now?
Well, you got to do a market watch here eventually then. If we're getting down to $6 tickets.
Now
What's it in the 537? I bet those prices are still high. Of course, we keep talking about it, so it's like the Gates Mills of Brown Stadium.
They've only had 3 games at Huntington Bank Field. They're 2-1, and the one loss was by 1 point, Anthony. We got 5 to come. It's all going to turn around.
With fees, I see $17.
Okay. I don't think anybody's having fun here, Anthony. I don't think that they're just taking advantage of the ride and that's it. I mean, Miles, he'll talk tomorrow, and I'm sure he's going to say some Miles things where he's just not going to be very thrilled about all this. I don't think I mean, you hear Miles every week. That's a guy who's in it. I mean, he might as well be Miles and Wadsworth calling in. Like, that's what he is now. He makes a hell of a lot of money, but I'm sure we've had a couple of millionaires call in that we didn't know about. So he's as upset as anybody. They're 2-7. They just lost to the Jets. They know how embarrassing it is. And I'm going to tell you, the mood of the room, it wasn't that they were going to go kick Baltimore's ass. It was just, it was pretty down. It felt to me like it was down. That's all. That's where I'm at on that. Coming up at 9:20 this morning, Doug Maurice going to join us on the show. Did Ryan Day actually think about leaving last year before they won the national title? Could they actually leave ever? Ohio State? Could Ryan Day actually do that? Doug Maurice, he's going to join us at 9:20. Up next, will Deshaun Watson play before Shedeur Sanders? And are there players telling Mary Kay that Shedor's ready to start? Want to ask Mary Kay that in 5 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. Tom Merriman and Merriman.
That to be arraigned later on this afternoon. Clase also facing charges and taking bribes in connection to pitches. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show, followed by Thursday Night Football. All starts out at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Time to get right down to business with Mary Kay. Cleveland Plain Dealer, Cleveland.com on the fan hotline. Hello, Mary Kay.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Have there been players who have told you at all, or sources in the building, I should say, who have told you that they are ready for Shedeur Sanders to start?
No, I have not had that. I have definitely not had that. Absolutely have had so much support for Dillon Gabriel, and guys really are rallying behind him and trying to understand that he is a developing rookie, just the same way Shedeur is going to be when he gets in there, and that they're trying to do everything that they can to play better for him. I'm sure people are curious to a degree, but no one has shared with me that they want Shedeur to get in there over Dillon right now.
Why do you think that is?
I think that the messaging from the top has been pretty good. I think that Kevin Stefanski has made it very clear to his football team what's going on right now with Dillon Gabriel and how they need to support him and what the plan is for getting better around him. So I think the messaging has been good enough that people understand what's going on. And I'm not hearing those whispers and seeing those things going on behind the scenes in the building.
Yeah, I just remember, Mary Kay, and it was a different time, a different era that I don't know if you've blocked most of it out during the Johnny Manziel versus, at that time, Brian Hoyer dilemma. And there were factions. Like there were young players behind the scenes that were like, wait till you see Johnny. The ball comes out of his hands faster. And then once we kind of got into the season, they're like, oh, God, no, it has to be Brian Hoyer. Like all that was getting leaked out constantly. I remember the national reporters were getting fed stuff. You were hearing stuff all the time. And I just find it odd that with as bad as Dillon has played, with as bad as the team has played, let's be fair here, it's not just a Dillon thing, that if the Shedeur stuff was so undeniable behind the scenes, I feel like we would hear it all the time.
We would hear it all the time, and you guys aren't hearing it either, I'm sure, because I really don't believe that it's going on. Now, sure, there might be a couple of guys here or there that are curious, and they are seeing some things in practice because I've seen them with my own two eyes. Shedeur Sanders, I've told you guys so many times, throws a beautiful ball. He is very, very accurate. He has elite accuracy. So I'm sure some guys might be curious privately, but I think this team has done a wonderful job of sticking together, of understanding where they're trying to go and what they're trying to do here. And right now it's about developing Dillon and the rest of the team and the rookies that are around him and trying to kind of hold that all together as a family. And I think they've done a good job of it. And you're right, back in the Brian Hoyer, Johnny Manziel insanity that was going on, it wasn't that way. They weren't sticking together. Brian was always looking over his shoulder for what was going on with Johnny Manziel and didn't even trust what some of the higher ups in the building were telling him at times because it was really just a mess at that point.
Do you believe that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barry disagree on who should be playing quarterback right now?
No, I think for the most part, those guys put their heads together and they come up with a consensus. And it probably isn't just 100% Kevin sitting in a room by himself deciding, hey, let's stick with Dillon and see how this goes. I think it is more of an organizational thing that happens. And we heard Jimmy Haslam say in training camp that as a club, as an organization, they would eventually like to see both rookies play this season. I don't know if it will still play out that way or not, but they had already determined that was something that in a perfect world they would like to see. So I think those guys are in lockstep on this, and there is still alignment in this building.
All right, Mary Kay Cabot joining us right now, Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. So you talked about alignment, and then you kind of just mentioned there that the thought probably was to play both rookies, but you're not totally sure. That surprises me at this point. It seems like Shedeur has to play now, just given how bad things are, and at some point you want to evaluate guys. Are you saying that because there might be other quarterbacks ahead of Shedeur that might see time, or is it because you think Dylan Gabriel is just going to start the rest of the games this year?
I think that there is no set in stone plan for how this is going to go for them. Here's what I think. I think that they hope and want Dylan Gabriel to keep coming up the learning curve and to get better by the week. And that's what I think they're hoping happens. He's only had one game with Tommy Reese. I, for one, and I wrote this earlier this week, I think there's something to build on there. Let's see what he's got for a few weeks. Why would you start your 5th-round pick for more games than you would start your 3rd-round pick, who you saw something in pre-draft and really wanted to see what was there? So I wouldn't be going out and starting my 5th-round pick for more games this season than my 3rd-round pick. It takes these young guys a time to develop. He had a really, really tough start. He started out in London, in Pittsburgh, and he didn't have Cedric Tillman all that time. The offensive line or the protection schemes aren't what they really need to be so far this year. So it hasn't been an easy cockpit, shall we say, for a rookie quarterback, and it probably won't be easy for Shedeur if and when he gets in there. It won't be easy. I can say with conviction that it won't be easy for him either. It's not a well-oiled machine right now. I think it will get better with Tommy calling the plays because I think he's good for Dylan, but I don't think that, that this is an easy situation for a young QB, and I would like to see what he can do for a few more weeks.
Well, let me ask you this, though. At what point, did they talk about it at some point being counterintuitive? Because he's not, you mentioned the London game. The London was the game he was probably at his best. It's been basically downhill since then, and I'm thinking, man, my whole thing of him was, all right, career backup, this, that, and the other, and I'm like, I don't even know if he's going to have the chance to be that, because at some point it's like, man, I'd like to bring him off the field and get a breather. So if it's like, if you can't start Shedeur, okay, fine. I'm going to be upset about it, but I'll try to understand you guys on this. Not you, them. But it's like, fine, put in Bailey Zappi then or something, because I think this is starting to have a negative effect on him.
Well, I was talking about this yesterday on our podcast. Think about this for 1 second. The Cleveland Browns right now, at this moment in time, had 2 games that were basically lost by special teams. The first game against the Cincinnati Bengals with 2 missed kicks, and this past game against the New York Jets because of 2 kick returns for touchdowns. If you take away those 4 special teams gaffes, this team would be playing for first place in the AFC North on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, despite everything that has gone on this season. So the margin for error is very, very, very slim in the NFL. It's unfortunate for them because this was an opportunity for them to stay in the conversation deep into November and maybe even December, but they have had some unfortunate events that have gone on. In spite of everything else, they have such a good defense that they've been able to, stay into it until this point. Now, as far as Deshaun, I'm sure you guys want to know what the situation is with Deshaun. They may never open up Deshaun's practice window, but he is getting closer. He does feel that he's ready to play. He feels that he's ready to go out and win and start games for them. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I don't know if they'll open the window. I don't know if he will ever see the field this season. But that's another thing to kind of keep an eye on here. He's there. We can't deny the fact that he is there, and something could happen with that as well.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Kenny did not want to know, for the record. He was shaking his head. You'll see it on the YouTube video that comes out.
If Deshaun Watson plays before Shedeur Sanders, I'm going to be catatonic. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Well, I can only give my opinion.
There are still 8 games left, and I think there will be opportunities for Shedeur Sanders to play. He might even play on Sunday, depending on what's going to happen with Dylan and what this Baltimore Ravens defense does. The Ravens defense is playing really, really well over the last 3 games. So there could be a world in which Shedeur gets into this football game and everybody will get their wish and see him out there on the football field. But there are still plenty of games left to let Dylan try to develop a little bit and then still see what you have in Shedeur Sanders if it comes to that. And next year, they're going to have another rookie quarterback on this football team. And in the event that they don't want that rookie to start right away and want him to come up the learning curve a bit, I'm sure they want to know if Dylan can be the guy that starts for them early on in the season for a few games if need be. So I think they still want to see what they have. And remember this, too. This is an important piece to remember. Joe Flacco couldn't do anything with this offense and then goes to Cincinnati and is able to light it up when he's got a different supporting cast. So I think that's another thing to consider here, that even the big-armed 18-year Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco really struggled with the supporting cast this year, especially in the early going. And, I think that might have something to do with some of Dylan's struggles.
All right, Mary Kay, we had a big conversation earlier in the week that spilled out into today about accountability. And obviously, Kevin was questioned about it yesterday. And he said, guys are being held accountable all the time. But we just saw in Pittsburgh, they cut Juan Thornhill. We saw in Detroit, a 5-3 team going into last Sunday. They quietly, behind the scenes, took the play calling responsibilities out of the hands of the OC, and the coach just said, I'm going to call the plays this week. And, of course, they put up 40-plus points. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to accountability. I don't see a ton of that with this team. Am I missing that, or is that just not Kevin's style?
Well, first of all, he gave up play calling to Tommy Reese at the bye week. So I think that's accountability right there from him, because for your offensive-minded head coach to give up play calling in the middle of the season for the second straight year, I think that he's saying, I think we can do better. And so I think that he's owning that situation right there. So I thought that was good. In terms of Bubba and what went on with the special teams this past week, these guys don't fire people in the middle of the season. They just don't. And I just don't see that happening. I think they will reevaluate everything after the season like they always do, but they're just not a knee-jerk reaction type of group. And we've seen that for the most part over the last 6 years of this regime here. So I didn't really expect anybody to get fired this week. That's not how these guys operate.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us on the Fan Hotline. What's going through Miles' head through all this? What can we hear tomorrow?
Well, he, at least after the game, is still saying all the right things about, I'm going to lead this team, and we still have something to play for. And I asked Denzel Ward that yesterday, and they still believe that going out there and trying to win every single football game is what they need to do. And that's what those leaders of the team are going to be doing this week, is trying to show that there's no quit in this football team, and they're going to go out there and they're going to try to beat the Ravens. And again, they've got a less than 1% chance of making the playoffs right now. We all know that. But I still think that you're going to see some really good, strong performances. And Miles was charged at the owners' meetings by Jimmy Haslam with becoming a real leader of this football team this year and increasing those traits. And I think he's done that. I think he has done that on the field and off the field, and I think we'll continue to see that.
So, Mary Kay, this game this week, what would you say is on the line? Give a pitch to the fans, because right now I saw some are saying tickets are as low as $6. I found them after fees to be in the 15 to 20 range. What is your anticipation for the way these guys look this week in front of let's be honest, quite frankly, a Week 17 crowd?
Well, I think it's going to be hard. I think this is going to be a really, really difficult game. I think that the Ravens have gotten it together and that they're back. They've won 3 straight games. As I mentioned before, the defense right now is playing lights out. In their past game, they hit the quarterback, I think, like 12 times. They got 3 takeaways. Lamar is back to himself for the most part, although he sat out yesterday with a knee injury. So it's going to be a tough game, and they're going to try to show the rookie quarterback a lesson, like everyone tries to do with rookie quarterbacks. So they're going to be coming after him. The protection is going to have to be much better than it was last week. He can't keep getting sacked 6 times a game like he already has twice. But I do think that there are some things to watch on this football team right now. I think Carson Schlesinger is playing as well as any rookie defender in the NFL right now. That's good. That's something that fans can get excited about. I think Quinshon Judkins is helping people not forget about Nick Chubb, but ease the loss of Nick Chubb. I think Miles is having one of the best seasons of his career, if not the best season of his career, and I think he'll be out there playing with his hair on fire. I think there are a lot of other young guys that are worth watching. And again, it's a rough season. Nobody wanted this. It wasn't supposed to work out this way. But I think that you are seeing some foundational pieces, and it's at least something to go watch. They're going to play hard, and they're not going to quit, and they'll give the Ravens their best game.
Mary Kay, thank you very much for the time. All the best to you and yours, and I'll talk to you next Thursday. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mary Kay on the Fan Hotline.
I said clear something up because I
Couldn't
saw
hide my face when that happened.
Yeah, I saw there were people saying, well, Mary Kay's been saying that. No, you haven't heard Mary Kay say that. She's been saying that she heard there were strides being made before for Shedeur Sanders, but she just flat out said all the time she's in the building, all the people that she talks to, nobody has been like, all right, we're playing the wrong quarterback. Which, what does that tell you? Don't you think, doesn't it stand to reason that in this situation where the season is over, you've got a quarterback that has looked disastrous?
When does Jerry Jeudy speak? Today or tomorrow?
Spoke yesterday.
Oh, he spoke yesterday? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
his biggest game of the
So
year.
he didn't say anything? Has he said anything at all?
Yeah, he spoke for 6-something minutes. So yeah.
Because would you be? Let me ask you this: did he say anything about the quarterback situation?
I don't remember. Nothing that jumped out at me.
How frustrated would you be if you were Jerry Jeudy?
He did mention they asked him about the balloon ball, and he said he thought it was a good throw.
Okay,
see if I can find that real quick.
Take that,
Well,
media.
he caught it. I think it's a good throw too. But if
take that, NES golf.
Jerry Jeudy is your number one wide receiver, and I got to tell you, I'm as frustrated as anybody, and I'd be frustrated if I were Jerry Jeudy.
That was out of bounds.
That was the throw to Malachi.
Yeah, yes, it was. That was a screenplay.
Go ahead.
Inside dart slant.
Inside dart slant, huh? Just missed him on the out and up. Coming up at 9:20, Doug Maurice is going to join us on the show in 5 minutes. Oh, we've heard some wild opinions, especially about those QBs. But if the Browns, they can't do this, because if they do this, it's going to drive me insane. They can't do this for our own sanity. I'll tell you what it is in 5 on the Fan.
Anthony Lima, 4QC.
Dylan, even though it might not necessarily be showing up in completion percentage and other things. But is that an accurate perception? It really just seems like you guys are behind him, and if so, why?
Yeah, for sure. Dylan's a young quarterback. He's on his first year, his fourth game, in the league. There's a lot that he, still got to learn. But, he comes out here each and every week ready to improve, ready to get better. So, that's all you can ask for as quarterback, and as teammates, we got to lean. You got to have somebody to lean on, and we're here for him.
All right, that was nice, and that was supportive.
Mm-hmm. It was.
That was supportive from Jerry Jeudy. About Dylan. What do you give me that look for?
Owen?
Give me that look for? What was that about? Boy, you seem to not believe a word of what he said. Is that it?
Yeah. He got the ball that last week, so.
Well, he had his breakout game.
That's good. I'm glad he supports him. I watch football.
Wait a minute.
And I don't support it. I am done supporting the guy that can't complete easy throws to receivers.
Timeout. I know you're not trying to do this.
Not a timeout. Time back in.
Well, there's no timeouts. It's a sports radio show. I know you're not trying to make him out to be a bad guy. Are you trying to make Jerry Jeudy out to be a bad guy? Okay, you're not. I'm not going to make Jerry Jeudy out to be a bad guy because I'm going to tell you guys this. There are so many people right now, including myself, I'm like, if they're not going to do anything, I might as well see Shedeur Sanders. So I'm one of those people. And if we're saying there's no accountability, right? I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the
Let me say
general
this
thing.
real quick.
Okay, please.
I'm making Jerry Jeudy out to be a guy who's just trying to get through the next 5 minutes of life, man. What do you want me to say so we can get on to the next thing?
Jerry's in a guy.
I think that's the majority of the locker room at this point in the season.
That's the majority of everybody.
I think that's the majority of this show right now when it comes to some of these topics.
No.
I think that's the majority of Browns fans. I think that's the majority of people that live in Cuyahoga County.
Jerry has become a guy waiting in line at E-Check right now. He's just trying to get through it, man. Poor Jerry.
There's 3 or 4 guys that walk up to him and go, "Hey, how about that weather?" And you go, "Hey, not as bad as yesterday. It'll be better. Did you see tomorrow? Tomorrow's going to be good. How about them northern lights? You see those?
Those do look nice."
So I'll say it. So there's so many times wide receivers get turned into villains very quickly in the NFL. If Jerry is fine just to get his yards and get his catches this year, buddy, I understand. If you're just saying, hey, how many yards did Jerry Jeudy have catching last on Sunday against the Jets? Was it 100? No, couldn't have been.
No, it wasn't 100.
You had Dylan Gabriel throwing to him.
It's like 65.
Okay, he had a nice fat 65. It's Browns, man. This ain't Cloverleaf High School. What are we doing here? He got him 65 yards.
Okay. No, he had 78.
78 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Friday Night Touchdown Player of the Week right
there.
Go. Damn,
Racking
Sam.
them up.
Woo! If Jerry Jeudy just gets his yards and gets his touchdowns and he's just fine, that's fine. That's fine. If they're not going to hold anybody accountable, that's fine. Jerry Judy's not the villain here. No. No. This is what happens. I mean, we've had grand conspiracy thrown today. A lot of people reacting to what Mary Kay said. This is counterintuitive. He looked helpless against the Jets. What's he going to do against the Ravens? And this is kind of a down year for their defense. He looked helpless against the Jets.
Tell Joe Flacco that in what is it, week 2?
They traded away. Joe Flacco didn't look good, but I mean, Joe Flacco was still like, it wasn't this. It wasn't this. Now, he was missing receivers. He wasn't finding guys who were open. But, guys, it wasn't this. This is, I think we reach a point here where, yesterday you asked, are we being too hard on Dylan Gabriel? We had a bunch of people, and I still think there are people who they are making arguments for Dylan Gabriel just because they want to argue against Shedeur Sanders. They don't like Shedeur Sanders. We are hearing wild conspiracy, and this is why I have to give it air, because there's a lot of times where I just roll my eyes and go, "Are you nuts?" Like the people are saying, "Well, this was Barry's pick." I don't think it was Barry's pick. You saw his face too. Everybody's just picking on Kevin Stefanski's face. Look at the way Andrew Barry looked. I don't think it was his pick. I told you, if they thought that this team was going to be bad, hell, if I owned the football team, I go, "Hey, yeah, you're going to give me the guy everybody's interested in. It's the 5th round." And then go, "Well, we could pick good players." I go, "I don't know. Where's Jed Wills right now? Not on my football team? Okay, we're going to pick the guy everybody's interested in. You guys deal with it." You guys taught me into giving how much to that guy that nobody wants to see? I had to take his face off my stadium over there. Yeah, we're going to take the guy everybody wants to see. I'll be the bad guy. You call me Kenny Haslam, I'll be Kenny Haslam right now. I'll say it right now, everybody. I didn't mean to bang on the table here. I'd have marched right in there at that time. I hope he did. This is how crazy we get. I hope he went in there and did it. Oh, wait, I'm paying how much of this guy? And my fans boo him every time he comes out there? They don't want to see him. Wait, we put happy birthday to him and they cuss him out on the internet? Yeah, we're taking the guy that everybody wants to see. We're taking the guy that was the most popular player in college football last year. We're going to do that. Okay? My team, I'm going to make the pick. You guys deal with it. I don't care. If this season was not going to be good, I wouldn't have minded if they would have just at least made it interesting. Now, that said, it has invited some wild conspiracy. I don't believe that Kevin doesn't like Shedeur Sanders. I think that Kevin truly believes that he's not ready to play.
He probably doesn't like his fans.
But I also think...
Because his fans have definitely seeped into every aspect of anybody around football.
But I don't think that he...
They are an organization in and of itself, themselves.
If he's answering questions the way he's answering, I think he's closed himself off to everything. So I don't know if that bothers him as much as it may bother you or other people. I don't know. But I say this. If you don't want to start Shedeur, if you don't think he's ready, fine. This is counterintuitive to Dylan Gabriel. It's not anti-Dylan Gabriel. But if he's lost against the Jets, they just traded away Quinnen Williams. They just traded away Sauce Gardner. These are guys that people love there as Jets fans. They bought their jerseys. They love these guys. And they traded them away, and you went out there and you lost. And by the way, it wasn't all his fault. Your special teams are terrible. But if we're talking about accountability, who still has their job this week? So we want to talk about accountability? Well, let's be accountable to the football team here. Let's be accountable to the young quarterback that I think you guys did like together. I think they both liked him. I think they both liked Dylan Gabriel. So let's be accountable to him and go, at some point, this is not going the way it needs to go, and he needs a breather. I'm not saying his career's over. And if you wanted to put in Bailey Zappi, people will go nuts. I understand that. I'll deal with it. Because this is counterintuitive to everything you want to do. And we're having all these arguments over this, and I'm going, this isn't going to get any better. He's pulling his head down and not looking around and taking off running and trying to get out of sacks before they're even around him against the Jets.
No, and now teams have film on him, so they know how to bottle him up.
Exactly.
I mean, even that happened to Baker's way better, and even that happened to Baker. Remember when the rollouts, the teams finally were able to put an end to those? That's my problem.
It can't even be about the whole anger over Dylan or Shedeur or anything. It's just like, guys, you know what you're looking at. And this isn't fun. It's not fun for him. It's not fun for us to watch. And there's going to come a point where I just feel bad for him. And I think that problem is going to happen on Sunday at some point. It might even happen in the first half. 216-474-0092. Doug Maurice going to join us at 9. Guys, if they do this, I'll be apoplectic. What is it? I'll tell you next on The Fan. If you go anywhere else...
at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Talk sports deep into the Cleveland night. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Doug Lay Maurice, 20 minutes away. Does Julian Sayin, where does he rank on his own football team when it comes to how good he is? I think you might be surprised with what some of the fans are thinking right now. Social media reactions brought to you by Scheibman Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Just got done talking about Dylan Gabriel and everything going on. Owen, you got some of the reactions over there?
Lito's way. Ken, you are flat out lying now. Some folks should not talk sports at all. Now Ken has lost all credibility.
Yes, because I lost mine like last week. Ken lost it this week, so it's going to be a weird show.
Guys,
Owen, take the con.
We are the most uncredible show in Cleveland.
Hey, man, been doing it a long time. I know this is your guys. Some of you guys, this is your first rodeo. This is not mine, and it probably won't be the last. When it comes to QB quarterback controversies, I'm only telling you the truth. If there's anything that does bother me, there's a lot of folks that have just wrapped themselves up in their version of the truth, and everything else is a flat out lie, and they refuse to believe it. They refuse to believe it, guys. Just because I say it, don't mean I agree with what they're doing. I don't agree with what they're doing. I don't agree with rolling Dylan Gabriel out there every single week. I think it's counterintuitive to what he's doing. I would have taken him 94th overall. I mean, good God. But that's what they're doing. But the whole thing about, and I've read it all. Well, he was Barry's pick. Okay. You want to believe that, you go right on ahead. And if you've just wrapped yourself up into this, and I'm sorry, I guess you're just going to call me a liar and say that I'm not telling you the truth. I can deal with that because I know I'm telling you the truth. But this is regardless of what you think of that, whoever that was, it's not a good situation. They're 2-7. Eventually, I would like to get to Shedeur Sanders. I like to get to Shedeur Sanders sooner than later. I don't think that Kevin. Of all the conspiracies that we hear, Kevin hates him. I don't think Kevin hates him. They all share agents. A lot of guys share a lot of agents all over the place. I think that of all the silly conspiracy theories, that might be the silliest one. I think that Kevin has his ways, and I tell you what, where I disagree with this guy over here, I don't mean to call out Nick, but I'm going to because I agree with him. You took umbrage with something Nick said earlier this week, and I say, no, I can see where Nick's saying that because I've said that about someone else. Go ahead and say that. Go ahead and say what Nick said.
That Kevin Stefanski, he would rather lose his way than win any other way.
So he said that, but he said that about the quarterbacks, though. Mm-hmm. Not just lose his way.
Well,
you mentioned quarterbacks specifically when you told me.
He's been pretty adamant that Kevin is very, very stubborn. And
do we have audio of this incident? Oh, we do. Okay,
got about a minute.
Go right on ahead and hit it.
And I think Stefanski's backed himself in this corner. If you keep going down the road with Dylan Gabriel, you're going to lose your job. And maybe that's what he wants. So maybe that's just a win because it's what he wants. But if you keep going with Dylan Gabriel, you're going to lose a bunch of games and you're going to lose your job. If you go to Shedeur and Shedeur looks great, then the answer is, how was your evaluation that Dylan Gabriel was better than Shedeur?
I think that Stefanski is comfortable losing with Dylan, maybe more comfortable than he is winning with Shedeur, right? Because he trusts Dylan Gabriel. There's something that Dylan did in the pre-draft process and since that has earned an incredible amount of trust, and Shedeur has not done that. For Stefanski, I'm saying. What if he understands that if Joe Flacco looks bad here, and obviously looks good in Cincinnati, and then Dylan Gabriel looks bad, and then you play Shedeur, and Shedeur looks bad, it's not going to really help Kevin in any way going forward, because I think Kevin is expecting if this doesn't work out, he can turn around and have his pick of the jobs.
I think it'll just be another notch on his belt that way. I think it'll be, that's quarterback 13 that you haven't been able to go ahead and turn around. I don't think the reaction, based off of a group of NFL personnel that let Shedeur Sanders slide to the 5th round, is going to hold it against him for not being able to make Shedeur Sanders be great.
So when I hear that, I go back to what I said. This is why I don't completely throw off what Nick is saying. Now, I don't think that Kevin's interested in losing football games, but I've told you this before. We did this with Nick Chubb. I told you if Vince Lombardi came down from heaven and looked at Kevin in a vision and said, Kevin, you are going to win this game. If you run Nick Chubb in this game 30 times, you will win it. I think Kevin would pause and look up and say, you didn't guarantee me I'd lose it. I think they have their ways, but I think every coach has their way of doing these type of things.
I don't know, though.
I don't think he trusts Shedeur Sanders at all.
I don't think he trusts. I don't think he trusts either him or Gabriel. He just trusts one more than the other.
You took the words out of my mouth. I don't think he trusts either or. But I because I've said that about, and you didn't knock that down, by the way, when I said that about Nick Chubb years ago. That's where I'm like, okay, I can kind of get where Nick's thinking on this. I think this whole situation has made us all borderline insane and desperate. And that's why I had to come to an epiphany a couple of weeks ago going, why am I trying to save all this? I didn't make this decision. I got to look forward. Forget trying to save this. This is beyond saving. I don't need to save Andrew Barry's terrible decisions, and I don't need to save Kevin Stefanski's terrible decisions. But we've all reached a point of craziness in some level here this season. And so when he says that, I'm like, well, no, I've said that about him and Nick Chubb before, so I can understand where Nick's coming from there. I have to disagree with you.
But 2 years ago, do we not remember 2 years ago when Flacco came in, the offense was changed immediately. Like this whole thing that he will only use up, he changed the offense. He allowed the offense to get changed completely for Deshaun Watson, going into last year. And obviously that did not work at all because Watson wasn't capable of running any offense at his stage or wherever he was in his headspace or physical space. So I have seen him definitely be willing to change things.
And when folks
I just think these are things we say about losing coaches. They're stubborn and they'll never change. And it's I don't know, there have been some factors that have kind of come along the way.
But it's also why I'm not going to turn him into a scapegoat either. If you want to get rid of him, fine, get rid of him. I want to wait until after the year, but I don't want to make that decision now. But if you feel that it's come to its crescendo, fine. Go ahead and move. But I'm not letting anybody else off the hook of that because the ones who want to look at it on the other side and go, well, Ken, what about Jamar Chase and what about T. Higgins? Okay, I'm not making an argument for Andrew Barry either, am I? Because if it comes down to it, all right, it's been one really great draft against 5 other ones that, for a lot of ways, I mean, if you really wanted to pick them apart and get nasty about it, it's not a very hard job to do. So that doesn't help out either. So I need to make sure it is clear. Like, it's either, to me, it's all, or I don't want to say nothing because I think the fans would go nuts, but it's all or all. Like, if they're going to do it, it's got to be everybody there because you can't have one without the other on this. Andrew Barry himself said they were thought partners. So if they're all thought partners together, well, then you're in and out of this together. 216-474-0092. Mike in Cleveland, you're first up on the Fan. Hello.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't think the players would, kind of voice their opinion. I've seen it happen after the Browns get rid of players, and then they, may say something. But if you do something like that in the middle of the season, they'll probably say, "Oh, that's like a cancer to the locker room" and stuff like that. But one way you'll find out if they put Shedeur out there and they start blocking better and start catching better and running better passes and stuff like pass patterns. That'll let you know. That
Mike, what Lima's saying, and I have no reason to disagree because it's happened several times in the history while this station's been on the air, is that you're not hearing the inside building sources saying that he's ready and that we are wasting time with Dillon Gabriel. We've heard that in several other instances with Browns quarterbacks controversies in the past. We're not hearing that yet. Now, I think they might be going through the motions and saying nice things about Dillon Gabriel right now, but I don't know if they're going to say it's getting any better with the guy behind him.
It does sound to me like that, Mike, that they are just saying the nice things to pay lip service to, well, that's our quarterback, we support him. But what they say publicly and what they say privately oftentimes are conflicting.
Yeah. So I don't think they'll do that, not now anyway, But like I say, the players show whether they appreciate Shedeur better than Dillon if he ever gets in there.
Well, yeah, we've seen that too as well. Mike, thank you very much for the call. Plus, I would expect it anyway because I think it's a new beginning. I think it's a new beginning where it's like, hey, let's get him off on the right foot here because we don't want to repeat what the hell's going on already. Because you guys have already been through the carousel, so it's true. If you feel that bad about a guy who's playing quarterback for you, and you do get to a point where it's like, hey, we got to make a change here. All right, well, let's get him off on the right foot here. Let's see if we can revitalize these things. I mean, this is why you make these decisions. Give me the energy. Give me to see if the know-how. Can we be better with this guy playing? So I think it's only natural that they would do something like that. Larry in Cleveland, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Larry.
Hey, guys. Thanks for your show, man. I like to say, man, we got to get rid of this cancer. Stefanski is a cancer, man. He's not letting nobody really play. Then he have no enthusiasm. no character about his players. I mean, man, you got some identity, man. Come on, man. Shedeur should have been playing. Man, we want to see Shedeur versus Lamar. That brings money in. Come on, man. We got to be positive. Define capacity and put the defense.
Larry, you're on speakerphone. I can barely understand what you're saying. I know you called Kevin a cancer, but other than that, I can't understand what you're saying, man. You got to get on the guys. Get on the phone. Get off speaker.
Also, I think we don't need to exaggerate.
Call in tomorrow.
To call the coach a cancer.
Well, Larry,
do we think 53 men are walking around and go, oh, you got this cancerous head coach?
I bet there's some of them. It is an NFL roster. I mean, they are 2-7.
I mean, we would. I know we've seen some blowouts. Wouldn't we see some? Oh my God, they didn't even show up moments. We haven't really seen that. These guys have been fighting for at least a half. Would you do that for a cancerous head coach?
You sure you're going to be able to say that on Monday?
No, I expect Baltimore to roll in a big way this week.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's because Stefanski's a cancer. I think it might be that there is a talent disadvantage at quarterback for these two teams.
Larry, I'm just saying, I will hear you out. You got to get off the speakerphone because I couldn't understand anything else other than that. 216-474-0092. Doug Lay Maurice going to join us on the show. I love the poll you had. It is an embarrassment of riches for Ohio State, but it might be what cost Julian Sayin the Heisman. Your own opinions might be what cost the Browns quarterback. Well, maybe someday. The Buckeyes quarterback, the Heisman Trophy. I want to ask Doug Lay Maurice about that coming up here in 5 minutes on 92.3 The Fan.
It's Anthony Lima. Time for your injury report as there is football.
Thursday Night Football all starts at 7 right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Gus Johnson, Fox Sports. That was the Indiana-Penn State game on Saturday. I ended up hearing it on the radio. I was hanging up Christmas lights. I'm going to attack him again this Saturday. 2 separate weekends of Christmas lights. I haven't even lit them up. They're not even connected yet. No. Doug Maurice joins us right now. It's the Bill and Doug Show. Bill and Doug on Ohio State football on Substack as well. Doug, how the hell are you?
I'm good. I've been revisiting last time I was with you guys, and you were trying to sell me on Garrett Nussmeier for the Browns.
All right, hey.
Coach got fired and he got benched. So anyway.
Who are you trying to sell us on?
Yeah, who are you going to sell us on then?
Orville Reese.
Ooh.
I don't know. There's no quarterbacks, man. I don't know what to tell you.
No quarterbacks?
Do you watch the NFL?
Well, there's no quarterbacks in the NFL either.
Well,
There's no, Fernando Mendoza is a very fine quarterback. If he's the number one pick as your QB, it's not the ceiling that you're accustomed to there. But he might be good.
Well, I'm here to talk. Well, you're here to talk Buckeyes with us because I got one name to throw by you about the NFL, but that's later on here. So Gus Johnson made a lot of people upset because they were going, well, the Heisman, and I said, I actually disagree with him in so many ways. Where Julian's saying. He just hasn't had his Heisman moment yet. The team's been too efficient this year. They've just been doing not video game type things, but they've just choked out every single opponent they've had, and it's been great on defense and everything like that. But let me ask you this, Doug: do you think that Julian Sain's even the best player on the Ohio State Buckeyes? Because then I got another question to ask you after that.
Probably not. It's probably Jeremiah Smith because he's probably the overall most talented, best compared to his peers guy on the team. But Julian Sain simultaneously might be playing the best quarterback in college football.
Yes.
So, but yeah, maybe he's probably no. You line up Jeremiah Smith and you say that's the best guy.
So that's kind of my thing. Or isn't the Heisman supposed to be the best overall college football player? And if Jeremiah Smith's the best overall college football player, why aren't we talking about him? Is it just a quarterback thing? Unless it's a COVID year, is that it?
No. Well, we are talking about Jeremiah Smith. I do think Jeremiah Smith should be and is part of the Heisman conversation. You look at the history of the award, obviously, as you're pointing out, with Devontae Smith in 2020 and Desmond Howard and Tim Brown, they're scattered receivers, but quarterback's the most important position. It traditionally is the place you'll find the Heisman winner, just like the NFL MVP is usually a quarterback. So, it's the hard part of this is this somehow a negative for Ohio State in its Heisman conversation that they have multiple really good players, and that means that nobody from Ohio State should win it, right? So that's the thing that is difficult to figure out. And also the idea of, you played a middling game and your team got behind and you needed a great last-second drive. That's better than beating everybody by a lot. Julian Sain, I don't know if you saw the 45-yard touchdown he ripped to Jeremiah Smith in that Purdue game. That was a throw, man. But nobody saw it because they were beating Purdue by 28.
Well, because that's my whole thought of it with Jeremiah Smith. And I know he's part of the conversation, but I'm going, I think he should be the leader. I think he should be the odds leader of all of it. He's the best overall college football player to me. I don't want to mean it's a no-brainer or anything, but I'm going, if that's what the award is, then that's who should be the Heisman Trophy winner is him.
It's not. You could if you want to read the definition, but we understand that's, this is why didn't Ndamukong Suh win the Heisman for Nebraska in whatever year if he was the best player? And it's we kind of understand the deal, right? That quarterbacks are quarterbacks, that how your team does matter. To me, it's sort of It's a story. It's an award that helps tell the story of the season. I certainly am not arguing against Jeremiah Smith.
Of course.
But I think the complicating factor is Carnell Tate. That if Julian Sayin was great and Jeremiah Smith was great, that's a little cleaner. But then there have been games when the way Carnell Tate is playing as Ohio State's other receiver this year, it's like, I don't know, is Carnell Tate just as good as Jeremiah Smith? And then that makes it a complicated thing. So they have two great receivers. So then if that leans you back towards the quarterback with your vote, I understand that.
Well, I look back to 2005, and, look, the USC, they were going for the jugular every time out, and that was a special team. And obviously, Matt Leinart was terrific, and they had Lendell White was terrific, Dwayne Jarrett, Steve Smith. But in the end, it went to Reggie Bush. But nobody's going to have the numbers this year for Ohio State from quarterback on down. Now, the advanced numbers for Sayin are insane and historic right now, but there's 1,000 voters. No. Do you think the average voter is looking at
I think
ADOT?
I don't think to say they're not going to have the number. He's like near the top in touchdown passes. Like if you look, it's not they're playing slower, but to say they're not going to have the numbers. Julian Sayin has 24 touchdown passes. That's tied for fourth in college football. He averages 276 passing yards per game. That's 13th in college football. And by the way, part of the issue is, so you're saying Reggie Bush in 05. Leinart, the quarterback, won it first in 04, and they went back-to-back. I actually think that's the model for Ohio State. Can you get Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith Heisman the next 2 years? And if you look in 04, there were two Oklahoma guys. Adrian Peterson and Jason White finished second and third with basically the exact same vote total. The two Oklahoma guys got more combined votes than the two USC guys that year. Leinart won and Reggie Bush was fifth. But I don't know what USC did, but Leinart elevated himself enough that he won. The Oklahoma guys split the vote, and no Oklahoma guy won. So that, to me, is a model. Like, if you're going to bring up Bush, that's like, okay, Leinart Bush, Ohio State should try to go Sayin Smith or Smith Sayin. But to me, that's how you try to go about this. But I think to say that the Ohio State guys don't have the stats is not true.
Well, here's what I mean by that. When I'm talking accounting stats, and I ran the numbers and normalized it for like a 13-game year because you can't look back at like Joe Burrow's 17 games or however many he played when he won the title. If you normalize them for 13 games, Sayin is way off any of the quarterbacks that we've had in the modern day over the last 15 years.
That's the wrong comparison. That's the wrong comparison. The sport has changed. A lot of teams are playing slower. The clock rules have changed. There's only 6 guys in college football right now who are averaging more than 300 passing yards per game. They're the quarterbacks for San Jose State, Duke, Baylor, Tennessee, Delaware, and North Texas. Do you see any Heisman candidates in there? Right? So, like, there's not a Joe Burrow who's throwing for 350 yards.
So if that's the case, why are we not getting more run for other position players if the quarterback stats aren't as crazy off the charts as they typically are?
I mean, I think the stats across the board are down a little bit, like with the clock rule changes. We've gotten a little bit out of the up-tempo era in college football. I'm here. Like, if we want to expand the Heisman conversation, I'm here for it. Reuben Bain early in the year for Miami before they lost 2 games as a defensive lineman, people were talking about him. But like it is a bit of a weird quarterback year. Like there isn't like a Joe Burrow that's popping up like that. But the raw stats I think are down generally. But if we want to talk receivers, if we want to talk a running back like Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, here for it. Jeremiah Smith, I think, will be in New York as a finalist. So I just think it's overall the game has changed a little bit in terms of like compiling raw stats for the best teams.
Doug Maurice joining us on the show. Has the NIL helped a little bit? Where I used to make fun of like Lima and go, why do you need to watch? This is before Indiana got good. So let me use Purdue as an example, right? Yeah. Like Lima, why do you need to change around your whole Saturday to watch Purdue? You know what's going to happen after the first quarter. There's no point. Like we don't need to yell at people for having fall weddings and all that other stuff. And now I'm like, I watch Ohio State and I just marvel. I think it's impressive. These are not just like 40-point, like they do become blowouts, but it's not 40-0 in the first quarter. I love watching their defense just choke people out every single week. I'm enjoying the football games more than I ever thought I would.
Yeah, so I think, NIL's done 2 things. It's flattened out the sport because it's spread out the talent a little bit because you can move in the portal. You can spend money. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to this school because they're going to make me their number 2 paid player, and this other good school would make me the number 30 paid player. So it's spread the talent out, and then it's also kept some guys in school longer because like you don't have to run to the NFL if you're going to be a 5th round pick. But I think it's been successful in like the reason that we have, Indiana and Ole Miss and Texas Tech and Virginia was, at the top of the ACC for a while, like some of these teams, is because the talent has moved around a little bit and is giving more team chances, and I think is making some more competitive games. But the other part of this is, and this is, if it's a Heisman conversation, we're handing out the Heisman like 75% of the way through the season now. So Ohio State and everybody who thinks they can win it all, they're planning for the 4 games they're going to play after the Heisman's handed out that don't matter for the Heisman, because you've got to make sure that you're as rested and fresh for the playoff as you can be. And that's not how you used to do it. It used to be you were playing 1 bowl game, and after the Heisman. And so it's changed how teams approach it, and it's slowed the game down, and I think it's brought the stats down, which is why I'd like to see the Heisman handed out at the end of the entire season, but most people disagree with that.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother debate, because then you wonder, are they just going to give it to the best player on the winning team every year for the national championship?
Like they basically do now.
Yeah,
but right.
Yeah, you're right. Doug Maurice, great points. Join us right now. We are in a collision course, it would seem, for the Big Ten championship, Indiana and Ohio State. Obviously, there's pesky Michigan in the way. But, I imagine for the 5th straight year, I'm going to say Ohio State's going to easily win that game. And are you on board with that? Am I going to be wrong again?
They have more good players, right? They're the better team, indisputably. Michigan fans would agree with that. But, what does that mean? So if Ohio State plays its best, it beats Michigan. Are they going to put themselves in a position to play its best? Like they haven't for the last 4 years. So, yeah, it's a weird game to try to analyze, because the football is, I'm picking Ohio State. The rivalry is, man, I don't know. Picking Ohio State is tough.
Doug Maurice joining us.
So I just want to ask, what is that Big Ten championship game going to be all about? Because if they are both undefeated, how much importance is going to be placed on that game, knowing the loser now with the new rules will still likely get a bye?
Yeah. So the winner of that game, if it's 12-0 versus 12-0, the winner's the 1 seed, the loser's the 3 seed in the playoff, which is not that big of a deal. So then it's like, well, what matters? Well,
Heisman.
Winning the Big Ten championship. Ohio State, hasn't been there in 5 years. I think that would matter. Indiana hasn't won a Big Ten championship since the 60s. They'd like to, they haven't played this year. I think that would matter, just in terms of like a great game, it would matter. And as you just said, like the Heisman's probably at stake. That it's going to be hard if Fernando Mendoza and San and Jeremiah Smith are all close. Are you going to really vote for the guy whose team lost that game? I find that hard to believe that a lot of people are going to do that. So I do think it probably is for the Heisman. So then it becomes a debate of like, okay, well, if all you're worried about is the playoff and seeding, and the seeding doesn't really matter, and let's rest our starters in the second half, I don't think that's going to happen. But if somehow that would, then we've got to address conference championship games. Because if you can't make the Big Ten championship game matter enough for the teams to go as hard as they can, then you've got to change the structure of the sport. I think they will, but if there's too many people saying like, man, I don't even care about this, then you have to ask yourself why you're playing it.
I remember Lima mentioned last year, like there might have been some movement before the Tennessee game. If they would have lost to Tennessee, maybe there would have been a buyout of Ryan Day or something like that. Then he wins a national championship. Would Ryan Day ever consider leaving Ohio State now? Did he ever consider maybe leaving Ohio State before he won the national championship?
Yeah, I think maybe it was pretty toxic, right? I think the toxicity that sort of led to the firing of James Franklin, that's sort of where Ohio State was last year after the Michigan game. And so I always talk about like 2 paths, 2 goals for Ohio State. One's the national championship, one's the Michigan game. And if you're not doing either, that's a tough way to live. But then when you you don't do the Michigan thing, but then you succeed at the highest level on the other thing, it's like, okay, well, now there's something to hang on to. So I think it would have been possible that it's just like, this is not working. Yes, your winning percentage is great, but this is a toxic atmosphere and we are not achieving our highest goals. You're a good coach, it's not working out. But now that that's happened and he has a national championship ring, we'll never be there again. Like if Ohio State loses to Michigan this year, it won't be as bad as it was last year because whatever happened, you can still point to a national championship trophy. So it's the nature of the sport. It's the passion of college football. And then when there are high expectations and they're repeatedly not met, it can become toxic. And it's not about like, is this a brain decision? This is a heart and gut decision. And I'm not sure this can keep happening, but I think those days are gone.
All right, Doug, man, I hate to do this at the end. The $2.4 billion private equity thing with the Big Ten, what is in it for Ohio State? Why do people think this is the end of the Big Ten, and what do you see happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't no finance guy. My opinion on it, I haven't tried to talk to people about it. I'm not educated about it. I will say, just looking up some stuff yesterday for one of our shows, like Michigan's endowment is like 3 times what Ohio State's endowment is. Michigan, who is against the private equity thing, just has a lot more money in reserve than Ohio State does. Ohio State has more sports. It has more athletes in the athletic department. They have a lot of people to pay. And so maybe they would want the cash influx that would come from a little private equity right now. I think the layman, most of us are like, man, don't do that. Private equity shuts down stuff. All they care about is money. Why would you sell Big Ten sports to private equity? But I don't know. If 16 of the 18 programs in the Big Ten are okay with it, like private equity's all over the place. But I don't have an educated opinion about it. But I think if you're wondering why Michigan's on one side and Ohio State's on the other, it might have something to do with the money they have in the bank.
But do you believe USC and Michigan could legitimately leave the Big Ten over this? And then what does that mean for Ohio State?
I don't know what college sports is going to look like in 10 years. So if Michigan and where are Michigan and USC going to go? Are we even going to have conferences? If they would leave, then it's like, well, what's Ohio State sticking around for? So I don't know. I don't have sleepless nights about it because Ohio State's trying to go back to back. And I understand that it's important and it could affect the football, but also a year from now, we might be talking about some other money thing that affects the football. So we're still in the chaos of this. Everyone's still trying to figure it out because they're finally paying the labor force and they don't know what to do. And I think they still should think about cutting more things before they sell themselves to private equity.
Doug, thank you so much for the time. The show is Bill and Doug on Ohio State Football on Substack. Go subscribe to them on Substack. They're great. The Bill and Doug Show. Doug, thank you for the time.
Thanks, guys. No nuss in Cleveland.
Thank you very much. Doug Lay Maurice. No nuss in Cleveland. Oh, God, I thought he said something else. No Nussmeyer in Cleveland. Okay, fine. Where does Julian Sayin rank to the Ohio State Buckeyes? Can I answer that before we get back to the Shador? Can we answer that before we get back to the Browns? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app, or if you're already there, folks, watch us on YouTube Live. That's free as well. Ken Carman here for KC Roofing. KCRoof.net is the website.
aching, fever, best sleep with the flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Big thanks to Doug Maurice, who joined us on the show. I wish you would have asked that question earlier about the private equity. I'll tell you that. That was some strong stuff. That scares the bejesus out of me. There's a lot of people I know who cover college football. They're like, no. I don't think Michigan would leave the Big Ten over it. Maybe they would. Maybe Keith has something different to say. I'm not sure. Folks, we have, before we get back into the whole thing, we have some, is this breaking news? Should we call it breaking news, or at least have something to pass along here?
It's news.
Emanuel Clase apparently making his appearance in court right now, or walking into court right now.
Oh, yeah.
From what we're told. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who amongst us hasn't watched the Seinfeld episode about little Jerry? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who amongst us hasn't thought, what's the harm? One pitch here, one pitch there, allegedly, of course.
One cockfight here, one cockfight there.
But maybe my pitcher had a bad day. You ever think about that? I present to you Rick Ankiel. I present to you a position player in Chuck Knobloch. Sometimes things just happen. Maybe it was happening to my client. I asked you to consider that. Wait a minute, he was a prosecutor, wasn't he? Matlock was a prosecutor. Fatlock's a defense lawyer. Cockfighting. What are we going to hear next?
So I have a question for you, real quick.
Yeah.
You saw on one of the pitches they don't have that many, but on one of the pitches they have where all these bets came in, and it was supposed to be a ball, and then the guy swung and missed, and it was a strike, right? Who was the victim in that situation? Is it the sports book? Are we supposed to be, should we feel bad for the sports books that allow this kind of gambling?
Did he allegedly mean to throw a ball?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Wasn't it?
And then the guy swung anyway, even though it was a ball.
Like, I'm sure you'd say, oh, how many people in the country had bet it to be
we know that batter didn't bet on the other side with some information.
Oh, there you go.
Now we're wondering.
We haven't accounted. What if both sides of this?
Just throwing that out, folks. You have no idea. We don't know how deep this goes just yet. You think it's two pitchers. Hell, it might be some batters. Hell, it might be an international superstar that Lima or that Owen always likes to bring up, that has captured the hearts and souls of baseball fans around the world. But they'll never say anything to him because baseball lost almost $2 billion last year, and they can't afford to lose anymore.
Now,
yeah, because they found a fall guy.
So isn't it funny, though, that baseball, they've already stepped in along with the sports books, and they're going to say, well, we're going to put a cap on these bets. They're basically admitting, yes, these can all be manipulated, so now we're just going to cap them lower. Isn't that a fine resolution for everybody involved?
More than likely.
And if you're betting on these things, it's for your recreation. You're not trying to get rich on velocity or ball strike determinations in the moment.
Well, I got to tell you, though, when I saw that story about baseball lost like, $1.8 billion or whatever it was yesterday, I went, Owen. Because Owen always brings up Shohei Ohtani and how,
he had a good year. He had a good year that year.
Yeah. It was the interpreter who did it.
Right. He put it on double green zero.
Could have been Shohei. You mean the biggest superstar in the sport, Shohei? The international superstar? Everybody recognizes him. Everybody knows him. Couldn't have been. No. Couldn't have been him. It was definitely these two guys who are pitchers, though. Oh, yeah. Nobody knows who they are except for Cleveland Guardians fans and former Pirates fans. He couldn't have been Shohei. Definitely could be the other two guys, allegedly. Yeah.
Was there
Very interesting. Was there to come around
when you saw that the Mets lost money, that the Dodgers were able to offset the losses because of attendance? Did any of that mean anything to markets like this in Cleveland?
As far as, tell me, make it count, make it matter to me.
I'm asking you, should there be a takeaway if the sport is having this renaissance, but also lost $1.8 billion? What does that mean?
Because they're having a renaissance. Well, I'll tell you this right now. They're having, you can tell, boy, the Sanders stuff is, it weighs on you after 4 hours. I think it tells you that this is a sport that is having a renaissance, that people definitely like what they saw when it came to the World Series. but you're not seeing that every single day. And now this is a sport that it's fallen on its ass when it comes to television ratings. I mean, the NBA had some foresight and foresaw some of this, and they try to get out in front of it as best they can. I don't know how much of a hit the NBA will take. Now, there might be some people over there at Rocket Arena laughing their asses off as they hear what I'm saying. But I think they did try to get out in front of it. Major League Baseball, if you're trying to offset television with attendance, that's not going to go very well. Attendance is down everywhere.
Well, and also
people don't go to as many games as they used to.
You can't convince me that baseball is back thanks to a great World Series until I see that manifest itself on a daily basis during the regular season. Like, well, does the World Series mean Guardians fans are not only going to watch their own team, which we do, but hey, I'm going to go watch a National League team now? I'm not convinced of that. I do not think that is going to happen at all, and I think it's become college basketball. I think we are going to get excited about the baseball postseason, which is awesome, but it's not going to correlate at all to, hey, fans are going to watch more than just their team in the regular season. I don't think that's going to happen. I think people are greatly overly estimating what the World Series last year will mean for the health of the sport.
Does this have anything to do with your Week 10 observations that you and several others had around the NFL? That we're going to carry this into the podcast coming up at 10:15 Eastern? Yeah. All right, 92.3 The Fan Extra on the free Odyssey app. Thanks to Mary Kay Cabot, Doug Lay Maurice as well. They were both on 92.3 The Fan's Fan Hotline as well as they're on 92.3thefan.com. Listen to both those. Mary Kay says, Shador's going to play first before Deshaun Watson, or he might not even get activated here, it seems, to the 21-day window, it seems, with Deshaun Watson. More on that coming up tomorrow. Doug Lay Maurice, thanks to him. 10:15 Eastern, 92.3 The Fan Extra on the free Odyssey app. Brought to you by Extend Technologies. Bye. Hey, sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.